That's right. Gotrek and Felix are coming to Warhammer 2 Total War. I don't know. I actually really surprised by this. I know a lot of you guys have hoped this day would come, and I theorized wouldn't actually come until Game 3, and here it is. And they're going to be in campaign, and they're going to be in multiplayer, which is absolutely amazing. Like, hopefully, I mean, I don't even know what to say. This is amazing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over the Gotrek and Felix frequently asked questions, and then after that I'm going to go through the Total War Warhammer 2 patch notes for the Empire Undivided update. I'm going to go through all the patch notes. I'm going to read over everything from start to finish, so that if you're just listening on your phone and you got your headphones on, you don't have to watch. I'll read every single thing out from start to finish. This will probably be a long video, but this is how I do it, so we'll get going. And so first of all, I'll just read the preamble to the Gotrek and Felix frequently asked questions. Number 1, the legendary adventures are abroad in Total War Warhammer 2. So Gotrek Gurnison is one of the legendary dwarf slayers, those brooding, taciturn yet deadly warriors whose very raison d'etre is to bring death, destruction, and all-around doom to any and all enemies of the dwarf race. Even for a slayer, Gotrek is a particularly grim example, for his shame is especially great. He refuses to speak of the humiliation that led him to follow such a path, except to say it is his only desire to die in mortal combat against a worthy foe, and pull them with him into death's cold embrace. The trouble is, Gotrek is rather too good at his work, or bad, depending on your point of view, and has thus far entirely failed to die, instead becoming something of a celebrity. Gotrek's only companion is his manling heliographer, Felix Jaeger, whose role it is to record Gotrek's deeds, although he often finds himself somewhat reluctantly taking part. So Gotrek and Felix is the Warhammer novel set. So here they are, the heroes. So overview, Gotrek and Felix, and the artwork is, this game is so beautiful. It looks incredible. So Gotrek and Felix are legendary adventurers and mercenaries, known throughout the Warhammer world by those that sing their praises and curse their names. Veterans of countless minor scrapes and grand battles, both are formidable warriors in their own right and would make a welcome addition to any army, if a commander is able to keep their attention for long enough. If you have the Gotrek and Felix DLC, you'll spot a new interactive marker on the campaign map. Click it, recruit them, and let the adventure begin. So here's the gameplay. So Gotrek and Felix are wandering adventurers and mercenaries. They can be very powerful allies, but they can't exactly be relied upon to stick around forever. After all, Gotrek has a death wish to fulfill, so he can't always be sure where their quests will take them. To represent their iconic style in-game, they function a little differently to other characters. Gotrek and Felix are initially recruited from their quest marker as a pair. Gotrek effectively functions as a lord and Felix as a hero that accompanies him. This means that they can function as an army just by themselves, and you can send them off around the world on adventures on their own, or supply them with troops and have them function the same way as your other armies. So that should be interesting. So I'll stop here because function as an army on their own. I don't know exactly what that means, but can they fight battles just with the two of them? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they work. Although with a rather powerful pair of characters leading it. Okay. They might be swords for hire, but they have a certain moral code and will only enter the employ of Empire, Bretonia, and Dwarf factions, of course. If you so much as look like a rat from a distance, don't ask. So Gotrek and Felix will only stay with your faction for so long. Around 20 turns or so, before Gotrek gets itchy feet and his death wish commands him to seek adventure elsewhere. Fear not, though, because their wanderings will inevitably lead them back to you at some point, and you'll find they have likely increased in prowess in the meantime. Just be wary of any enemies they've also made in the meantime, while they've been away. God, the artwork is beautiful. So he's a, like has a one like man. This is gorgeous. Ah, man. All right. So how to get them? So Gotrek and Felix DLC is exclusively available in September's print issue of the White Dwarf magazine. You just need to follow the instructions on the special card and you'll get them with your copy. White Dwarf is available from all branches of Warhammer and Games Workshop stores, from the independent stock lists and through Games Workshop online web store. It is also available through all good news agents and bookshops that stock it. After a period of exclusivity, Gotrek and Felix will be available to anyone for free, though Total War through Total War Access from the 17th of October. So you basically get them for a month ahead of time if you have a paper copy, not a digital copy, but a paper copy of the September issue of the White Dwarf. If you already have a free Total War Access account, they will appear from the date in your inventory from that date in your inventory alongside with your other free items. If you don't have a Total War Access account yet, you can go here to sign up for free, and we'll get you all the latest news and exclusive freebies and offers from Total War as a result. Jesus, looks good. That looks really good. Gotrek and Felix DLC FAQ. So what's the deal here? Gotrek and Felix is a new Total War Warhammer 2 DLC available exclusively for a limited period with September 2019's printed copy of the White Dwarf magazine. That's important. You need the printed copy. After a month, anyone can grab them for free from Total War Access. What game are they for? Gotrek and Felix is a Total War Warhammer 2 DLC, and you'll need that game in order to make use of the DLC. You can also use them in a free Mortal Empires campaign if you can also use them in the free Mortal Empires campaign if you own both Total War Warhammer and Total War Warhammer 2. Okay, I don't have Total War Warhammer 2 yet. What do I do? If you create your free Total War Access account, or you have one already, you should also see a 50% off Total War Warhammer 2 coupon in your Total War Access inventory alongside other freebies and offers. These coupons are also transferable to a friend and will expire on the 10th of October. So you can get the game for half price, Total War Warhammer 2. So I mean, if there are some of you that have the first one and are looking to find a sale for Total War Warhammer 2, now is the time. When can I start playing with them? If you're a subscriber to the White Dwarf, then you should receive a copy a few days before the 20th of September. You'll need to sign into the Total War Access to use your unique redemption code in order to unlock them. So I need to find a way to get the White Dwarf magazine. I don't know if my city that I live is really small, so hopefully I can find one. If you buy the White Dwarf, you'll be able to get access to them as soon as they hit shelves in store. If you don't subscribe or buy White Dwarf, you'll be able to access them from the 17th of October. Okay. I hate exclusives. I can't get White Dwarf. Why not just update the game? Why have you done this? Okay, this is a question. Rather than spending our marketing money to advertise our game in a magazine, we used it to make in-game content that we hope will encourage people to try our game out. In return for making that content exclusive for a month in a magazine, the magazine promotes the game in return. Classic win-win. Even better, once the period of exclusivity ends, we can offer the content to everyone through Total War Access for free. So anyone can get a hold of the game content in the end. We think this can be a more effective form of marketing than just making adverts. And this content wouldn't exist if we didn't fund it in this way. We get to add even more free content to our games, and our marketing pays for it. We think that's a pretty good arrangement. I'll agree. What is Total War Access? Total War Access is our Total War account sign that gives you access to exclusive content, free giveaways like in-game content, money off details, audio tracks, ebooks, and anything else you might enjoy. And there's like Regiments Renown and stuff like that. You can also agree to us sending you regular email updates about Total War through it. We're planning on expanding Total War Access over time to offer even more benefits in exchange for the opportunity to tell you about the latest Total War news and offers. Find out more here. Ultimately, being able to contact you directly is really valuable to us, as it helps us tell you about new games and products we have coming up. Yeah. In exchange, we'll give you some great freebies and exclusives, even if you'd rather opt out from our mailing list. However, we hope our emails will prove you so useful that you won't want to opt out. so we'll keep working on them to make them as entertaining as relevant as possible. Okay, here's the question. How can I buy White Dwarf to get access to the characters? Okay, you can get White Dwarf magazine from all branches of Warhammer and Games Workshop stores, from independent stock lists, and through Games Workshop online web store. It is also available through all good newsagents and bookshops that stock it. Please note that due to technical limitations of providing a unique code, the card for Gotrek and Felix is not available with digital editions of the magazine. It is only available through the printed edition of the magazine. When will the White Dwarf be in stores? So the September issue of the magazine is available from the 20th of September. You can pre-order your copy from the 14th of September. So you can pre-order. I'm going to see how I can pre-order that copy. When can I redeem them through Total War Access without buying a White Dwarf? Okay, that'll be October 17th through Total War Access. That means that the characters will be free, but you need to sign into Total War Access to grant your DLC to your Steam account. Okay, how do I redeem the characters? Go to Dashboard, Total War, sign and create a new Total War Access account. Blah, 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 blah. This is how you do it. Okay, I can't sign up. So the Gotrek and Felix DLC will show up in now playable game. Okay, so what if you can't sign up for Total War Access? How do I redeem my character? So some countries may have restrictions with signing up for Total War Access. If you cannot create a Total War Access account and you have purchased a White Dwarf, simply email Sega customer support and include your unique redemption code. Oh, okay, cool. So you can still get it even if you can't get onto that website. Good. Will Gotrek and Felix be available if I'm playing on MacOS and Linux? Yes, shortly after the release on Windows. Can I play Gotrek and Felix in my multiplayer campaign? Due to the nature of how the characters work in the game, they will not be available to recruit in multiplayer campaigns. However, they are available in custom battles and non-campaign multiplayer. So they're available in ladder. That'll be awesome. I mean, hopefully Gotrek is just a legendary hero, and Felix and you can get both Gotrek and Felix with the Empire and with the Dowie and maybe with Bretonia. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, that's it for Gotrek and Felix. This is amazing. The art looks beautiful. I mean, Felix, just looks whatever, but Gotrek looks amazing. Just so badass. This looks so good. Oh my god. Okay, so we will move on. Gotrek and Felix. It's coming. I got to figure out a way to get this White Dwarf magazine. I got a few days here. It's the weekend, so I'm going to sort that out. So the next thing we're going to go over is Total War Warhammer 2 patch notes. So the Empire Undivided update. And this is a big update. We waited a long time for this, and I'm telling you, CA did not disappoint. This is good. So we're going to just go through the introduction. The automatic update this automatic update arrives alongside the Hunter and the Beast Lords pack, which I've already purchased, of course, even though I'm not going to play it, bringing a huge array of content, additions, revisions, balances, and improvements to the Eye of the Vortex and or the Mortal Empire's campaigns and multiplayer noted below where relevant. If you haven't purchased the Hunter and the Beast Marcus, Wolfheart, and Nakai the Wanderers factions of the Hunts Marshals Expedition and the Spirit of the Jungle add their own distinctiveness to both campaigns under computer control, pursuing their own particular agendas and helping shape the world around you. So they'll be there no matter what, whether you buy it or not. As you know, the Total War Warhammer series is a labor of love for us and one of the longest term projects we've ever embarked upon. It is our commitment to continue fleshing out and evolving the world of Warhammer Fantasy Battles over time as fully as we are able. The next update we're planning will focus more on technical maintenance and quality of life improvements rather than faction or race overhauls. So this is my take on this. The next update we're planning will focus on more technical maintenance and the quality of life improvement. So Greenskins overhaul is not coming, Beastman's overhaul is not coming, Wood Elf's overhaul is not coming in the next update. But technical stuff, technical maintenance, this is like game improvement stuff, quality of life improvements. They've already lowered the specs to run this game, so they've improved it. Are they going to input some of the stuff they've learned in Warhammer 3 Kingdoms? Are they going to be inputting some of the stuff we're going to see in Warhammer 3? Things that are just so good, and they'll put them in and see how they work and develop them in Warhammer 2 to make sure they're really spot on for Warhammer 3. Like, sometimes they might see that. Like, I think this is a clever idea by CA. So and then they'll have after that, they'll have the, whatever the next patch is, but they'll have time to play with the improvements. So if you're waiting for a particular set of older content to get an update, we hear you, and hang tight. We'll get there. So we'll get there. So here is interesting to say. So if you're waiting for a particular set of older content to get an update, we hear you, and hang tight. We'll get there. So the only, really, Chaos, Beastmen, Wood Elves, and Greenskins. Greenskins are the one people have talked about a lot, because Greenskins, they have their own thing, but this is saying a particular set of older content to get an update. So this is going to say, to me this says they're doing the next two. They're doing the next two in pairs. So they're probably going to do an update to the Beastmen and the Wood Elves together, and they'll probably do an update to the Greenskins and Chaos together somehow. Maybe they'll be both in the same thing. I don't know. Hang tight, we'll get there. Until then, there's plenty to get your Runefangs into. Okay, so the Empire Overhaul, Mortal Empires campaign. This is awesome. By popular demand, the factions of the Empire race have undergone a grand-scale overhaul for Mortal Empires. This grants them a new and richly themed level of gameplay variety, in line with more recently introduced races and factions. The territory rework. Empire territory now features 12 new regions. Holy crap, that's a lot. Many provinces have been upgraded from 3 to 4 regions, good, representing an aggregate of significant enlargement and variety of Empire holdings. And there's lots of room up in that part of the map, so that's good. The enemy within. 3 new provinces can be found in Empire territory. The Forest of Lorelorn, next to Nordland, plays host to the Wood Elf faction of the same name. Interesting, they're putting the Wood Elves up there. While the Misty Hills north of Middenland and Solend in the south, Balthazar Gelt's new home province, are subject to greenskin incursions. Interesting. So they're trying to make gameplay a little more interesting up there. New fort settlements. 3 new regions are the sites of newly designed Empire fort settlements. These settlements are Helmgart, Fort Saul, and Fort Burgris. In battle, forts are deeper than normal cities, offering multiple, increasingly higher fallback positions for defenders, and bringing new challenge and opportunities for siege gameplay. So it'll be sort of like a multi-tier siege, like these have been around in Total War for a long time. Like Medieval 2 had these. I don't, not really for me, but well, maybe they'll be good. We'll see. You never know. I gotta play it. Balthazar Gelt, the supreme patriarch of the Colleges of Magic, gets his own campaign start position, leading the Golden Order faction from his base in Fyldorf. Ooh, so he's going to be right near the dwarfs. Like, he's going to be surrounded by dwarfs, essentially. Because Fyldorf is right north of Karak Hern, and sort of northeast of the corridor onto Clan Angren, and then straight east of Karak Norn. And just a little south or southeast of where Skarsnik starts. So that should be interesting. Usually that area is sort of dominated by the vampire counts, so that should be a pretty big change in the balance of power to have a legendary lord there. So the tech tree. Empire factions now have access to the comprehensively reworked Empire tech tree. The new tree removes all building locks, offers far greater choice and variety, introduces more diplomacy-enhancing techs, and unique techs which interact with the new Imperial Authority system. Okay. Imperial Authority. The Empire Offices system is gone. In its place, the Empire players can now extend their authority across the Empire by engaging in internal politics and quelling agitators in their efforts to confederate or go to war with the elector counts leading other major Empire factions. There are prestige. Prestige can be used to manage the player's Imperial authority and is acquired through winning battles and constructing ever more impressive edifices. High authority grants enhanced growth, tax rate, and increases the chances of improved fealty from the elector counts. Low authority incurs the reverse, plus reduced public order and leadership. If your imperial authority falls too low, you risk the elector counts turning against you en masse in an imperial civil war. Interesting. Fealty. Fealty is an overall measure of an elector count's loyalty towards the empire and is influenced by many factors, including, but not limited to, imperial authority, your overall tech level, diplomatic attitude, and the new political events. When an elector count's fealty reaches a certain height, they will pledge their unswerving loyalty to the empire with an offer of confederation. If their fealty drops low enough, however, they may secede from the empire altogether. So cool! This will be the first time that you can confederate, and then they unconfederate? Is that what that means? Or you can confederate, on the other side they just leave and sort of pick up their ball and go home. Is that what that means? I don't know. Summon the elector counts. The new elector count panel displays the characters which occupy elector count roles and tracks their fealty towards the empire. Should you own an empire state capital city, you can assign a character as its elector count. Okay. For example, you may own Betchaven in Ostermark and choose to assign Wolfram Hertwig to the position. This will unlock one of the legendary Runefang weapons, the Ostermark Runefang, Troll Cleaver in this case, and grants access to an elite, unique Empire unit variant. The Ostermark grants the Knights of the Everlasting Light. Interesting. It's interesting how, like, these units are really cool. They look like reskins, but a lot of people were kind of hoping they would be in multiplayer. But they are not. So political events. Political events are a new type of event which can trigger during the course of an Empire campaign. These can directly impact your prestige, imperial authority, your economy, or the fealty of the elector counts, for good or ill. They've really done a lot of work on this, man. Holy cow. These events can drive meaningful real-world consequences. For example, if a civil war ensues, you have to choose sides between elector counts. From time to time, you may be called upon by an elector count via a political event to assist them militarily against roaming invaders. Whether you choose to do nothing, offer money to fund mercenary assistance, or choose to fight directly alongside them against their aggressors, there will be a relevant impact on their fealty. Okay. So this sure looks like there will be a really interesting campaigns take place here. Whose campaign am I going to watch? Whose campaign am I going to watch? Probably Heir of Carthagers. There's lots of good campaigns, though. And Surreal Beliefs. I don't know. And then there's so many good campaign players, but I'm just trying to think of the real hardcore Empire campaigners, like the guys who really love Empire. Oh man, we'll see. Territory. If you capture a settlement considered to be the rightful property of an elector count, you may gift them that settlement as a post-battle option, increasing their fealty towards you. If you capture one of the Empire province capitals, you may instead install a new elector count of your own choosing. Interesting. The Empire Reforged. Though usurped long ago, Sylvania and Marienburg are still considered rightful Empire territory. If they are liberated, players may install their own elector counts there. Flummox the elector counts. Through the new electoral machinations panel, players can expend some of their prestige to influence relations between the elector counts, increasing bonds, inciting war, or ostracizing bad eggs as appropriate. This works in a similar way to the High Elves intrigue system. Awesome. I love it. Okay, so that's that. So Slann rework, Mortal Empires and the Eye of the Vortex campaigns. Slann are now more powerful than before, and considerably better casters than skink priests, in line with their ancient and revered status. Good. Slann may also be accessed much earlier in the campaign through the Rite of Awakening. Lore choice. Slann no longer wield mixed lores of magic. When a Slann is invoked through the Rite of Sotek, the player will receive a dilemma, offering a choice of which lore the Slann will wield. Fire, Life, High, and Light. Their unit model variant also reflects his choice. General traits. Awakened Slan hail from the second, third, or fourth spawnings. The older they are, the more powerful, which is reflected in bonus wins of magic reserves, the XP they grant to their army, and a reduction in miscast chance. Cool. Rank increases. Key techs and buildings can increase the starting and recruitment rank of any Slan gained through the Rite of Awakening. Nice. Multiplayer unit caps. This is so awesome, these multiplayer unit caps. I mean, I've been seeing it all around. You know, this is before I talk about unit caps in multiplayer, this is just a massive thank you to Shetland Apache, and I think, is it Pippington? I think he's one of the ones that are really in there helping build these tournament rule sets. And you know, Shetland Apache has an amazing Discord. If you've never been on his Discord, go on his Discord. It's a great place for news and stuff. But these are the guys who have driven this bus, because tournaments are so much fun. They're, you know, you watch the tournaments on YouTube, they're amazing, and in part because of the unit caps. Now, CA is doing it slightly different, but they've borrowed a lot from those rules. And so, you know, this is a thank you to Shetland Apache and the people that have been so passionate and worked so hard to develop and keep developing those multiplayer units, and to the guys who've made multiplayer what it is. Like Turin, you know, has really created the multiplayer scene in Total War Warhammer, and there's lots of other great casters out there. I don't want to, you know, deny anyone that, but you know, we all know that really Turin has created this space for amazing multiplayer, and there's a lot of other YouTubers out there who have been part of this and have grown because of it. And so you look at these guys that have made multiplayer in Warhammer amazing, and now we're starting to see, like, the multiplayer unit caps is not a small thing that they did. They had to go through every unit, and when you see what they did, it's really amazing. So they made it intuitive and smart, and oh man, like CA's done a good job. But you know, this is really CA working together with guys like Turin and the multiplayer community as a whole. So I'll read it. In an effort to build a fairer playing field in the multiplayer battles across the many playable factions, we have introduced a flexible new cross-category cap system. This has been designed with the following aims: limiting multiple variants of the same rare units across different categories. Example, core roster Dreadsaurians and their Regiments of Renown counterparts. B. Limiting multiple variants of the same unit within the same core roster. Example, Stegadon unit variants and the Stegadon character mounts. And lastly, preventing the creation of armies full of Regiments of Renown. So, I mean, if you play it on ladder, you don't have to play it on ladder very long before you kind of come across some of these really abusive builds. Now, this is something that I talked about where I did a video called, you know, Pure Cancer or something like that, where I came across this sort of 9 model vampire count army, which is very common. And in that video, I argued that it's not the player's fault for building that army. It is CA's responsibility for allowing it. This is sort of Legend of Total War. He really feels strongly about this, and I think his logic is all there. You know, CA doesn't have to allow that sort of play, and they're not going to anymore. They're going to continue to work on this by the sounds of it, because they have left it open for development and said that explicitly. I love this, and this is going to make the multiplayer scene much, much better. Now, there's still going to be abusive builds, and there's still going to be abusive matchups. There's still going to be players, you know, doing things like corner camping or draw kiting, or using hidden armies and flyers for where they can. You know, there's still going to be abusive concepts out there, but they're not going to be nearly as bad and nearly as common, because they're not going to be as all-powerful as some of these ideas used to be. So that players who play them, the reason they play those is they want to get real high on ladder and maintain that. So that's why they play those sort of builds. So that's going to be reduced by quite a bit. So, and there's talk in the air of resetting the ladder. So many games do this. Hearthstone, I love watching Hearthstone, and They reset their ladder every month. There's so much competition because every month, everyone has a chance to be number one on ladder. So if they do that, along with this update, the game will be so busy. It'll be so awesome. Ladder will be so fun. And, I might even try and actually play a little bit more ladder. So anyways, whether a unit contributes to a cap and how close the player is to a specific unit's cap within the current army build is tracked via unit card tooltips. It's awesome. If you haven't seen it, I think Dial Plays has a really nice video on it. So headline fixes. Here's the headlines. Number 1, a raft of tweaks to AI behaviors on the campaign map to make for a better variety of experiences within campaign. So guess what Sue Devil's doing when he gets Gotrek and Felix? He's playing a campaign. That's right, kids. I don't have a campaign going right now, so I need to get in there and get one. Fix the issue that was causing event feed messages to display incorrect names and portraits. Oh my god. That is so good. Because hopefully that's totally fixed. Vampire Coast factions can now recruit at sea using a flagship expansion stance. Awesome. We've done a huge pass on unit sets that should standardize and resolve issues with traits or text not being applied correctly to units. Excellent. Tweaks and improvements to the visuals on the campaign map. Awesome. We've revisited how veterancy impacts unit stats, which in turn has tweaked regiments of renown, making them favor attack over defense. So I'm going to have to do another the value of chevrons video. I think I'm up to the value of chevrons 8 or 7 or 8. So I'll do another one and I'll look at these. Of course, it looks really like, number 1, the total number of chevrons has gone down, and it's essentially swapped it from the balance from attack. So a lot of units are getting +3 attack, -3 melee defense, +2 melee attack, -2 melee defense, but some are like +2 melee attack, -3 melee defense. If there's any changes, it's really in the idea that they've reduced the total chevrons, and I'm going to look at the cost to see if they've changed the cost. And I'm also going to look at the effectiveness because they've done a balance pass on them. So, anyways, tweaks which affect difficulty levels harder than normal, making campaigns played in those mode more challenging. So, legendary should be a lot more difficult. I mean, although the dwarf start is still pretty easy. So I'll play a legendary campaign, of course. And we'll see how the difficulty levels feel. I mean, I was going to pick up an SFO campaign next, but there's just too much awesome here. So they've done a balance pass that should help shake up the meta. Oh boy, is it ever going to. And they've done a tools update for modders. And a shout out to the great work. See the last entry in these notes. So they're going to help modders. And this is like one of those things that like CA just has always sort of got. Now they've kind of come away and come closer to modders and stuff, but mods, they just make the game better, and you can, I don't know, they just make the game better. So campaign bug fixes and improvements. So Philip Billings has had quite enough of the mosquitoes, snakes, and angry tropical Norskins attacking the New World colonies, and has headed back to the Old World for a well-earned break. I don't know what that means. Fixed multiple end turn crashes. I do know what that means. Fixed a crash that could occur loading into the ambush battle along Norskin coastlines. Okay. Fixed a crash that could occur when opening the diplomacy window when an army is retreating on the campaign map after being attacked. Fixed a crash that could occur when selecting a fortress gate settlement when an under empire is discovered. Okay. Fixed a soft lock that could occur when confederating is border low. Fixed an issue where building Blood Shrine of Sotek could cause campaign map movement to be disabled and ending turn to be locked. Fixed soft lock that occurred when closing the character details panel whilst the replace lord panel is open. Okay. Fixed an issue that could occur where the save option would be grayed out from the main menu if opening the main menu whilst camera is moving on the campaign map. The player is no longer charged for searching ruins when a Skaven settlement is discovered. Oh, good. Under empires can now be built in settlements that are under siege. Ooh, cool. Slightly revamped Lizardman and Vampire counts building trees and unit unlocks. Okay. Settlements now unlock basic units for empires. Okay. Interesting. Reduce the streamlined port income for all factions. Reduced and streamlined port income for all factions. Okay. We'll see what that means. Vampire Coast rogue armies will no longer respawn in Mortal Empires when not playing as a Vampire Coast faction. Okay. Made some minor ancillary effect tweaks globally. Supply lines will now properly reduce when the player has no armies. Okay. Fixed an issue causing the event feed to display incorrect names and pictures in the later stages of campaign. This is not retroactive. Old saves will still experience this issue. Okay. Modifiers to research rate had a long-standing issue that was making them apply inconsistently. We've now made all the research rate modifiers function properly. This may cause unexpected swings in individual faction research rate balancing, but we'll be keeping a close eye on the situation going forward. Okay. Minimum research rate is now 5%. All right. Red-crested skink chiefs now properly spawn with traits when spawned with Rite of Primeval Glory. Change Bretonnian Siege Workshop level 2 buffs to only affect the local province and decrease the cost of constructing any building by 10%. Fixed missing ritual chain buildings at some ritual sites in the Vortex campaign. Faction capitals that cannot build wall buildings now receive improved tower projectiles from their main settlement chain. Alright. Reduced income of High Elf Entertainment chain. Okay. All regions should now use the correct garrison when occupied by Bretonnia. The Warlock Engineer in the garrison of occupied Elven Colony now correctly has access to his spells. Removed Chaos Corruption from Altar of Ultimate Darkness. Vampire Coast now receives +1 to hero capacity from the final building in the hero chains on the ship building the Lords. Skaven Landmark Lairs of Clare Caron now produces +5 food to bring it in line with other similar landmarks. The Nuln Gunnery School landmark now grants access to artillery unit recruitment. Great cannons at tier 3. Good. The Blazing Sun Chapter House landmark at Talabheim has been moved from tier 4 to tier 3, and the armory requirement for Knights of the Blazing Sun has been removed. This should generally make the Knights more accessible considering their already very strict geographical limitation, and they no longer share the same tier as Demigryph Knights. Good. Vampire Coast can now construct the Vault of Nagash landmark if they occupy the Black Pyramid of Nagash. Ah, gotcha, okay. Wood Elves can no longer build a second copy of the Waterfall Palace landmark at Orion's camp. Okay. Crone Hellebrand's quest, Death Sword, and the Cursed Blade description now correctly states it unlocks at level 8. Morgiana's Mirror is now an enchanted item, allowing the Fey Enchantress to equip all her unique items at the same time. Alright. Magical attacks have been removed from Lord Skrolk's quest item Rod of Corruption, as Lord Skrolk has magical attacks by default. Okay. A little bit superfluous there, I guess. Fixed multiple instances where Volkmar the Grimm's quest could abort with no follow-up. Reduced the number of greenskin armies required to complete Stage 3 of the Galmaraz quest chain. Fixed an issue where Skink Chiefs, Lich Priests, and Necrotechs would be considered as lords rather than heroes in certain scenarios. Fixed an issue where the Vampire Admirals would be considered as heroes rather than lords in certain scenarios. Confederating with another Skaven faction will now transfer ownership of the Under Empire to the player. Okay, I gotcha. Lokir Felheart no longer becomes affected by the loyalty system when confederated. Skaven loyalty dilemma effects no longer apply to the entire faction. Skull Smashes now have mountain immunity trait. Vampire Coast factions can now globally... Okay. That might affect, are those guys up by Karakadrin? That might affect Karakadrin's campaign. We'll see. Anyways, Vampire Coast factions can now globally recruit when at sea when using their flagship expansion army stance. Bretonnian factions in Araby will now use the correct stances. Alright. Sword of Cain diplomatic penalty now applies correctly to the Vampire Coast, Kislev, and Rogue armies. Alistair the White Lion now starts with Immortality unlocked. Okay, Alberic's basic training skill is now available. Throg's mutant regeneration skill now correctly grants replenishment to trolls and Famir. 10-in-1's defeat trait has been slightly reworked. The Untainted buff has been removed and replaced with minus 25% damage taken from all attrition for the entire army. Okay. Adjusted unit sets associated with Prophet and Warlock. Several units are now correctly affected by tech skills and traits. Adjusted the passives for Skaven, Regiment of Renown, and Tech Lab units. Unbreakable units no longer have Scurry Away, and units that were previously missing Strength in Numbers and Scurry Away have received them. Okay. Warpstone Hoarder trait now applies to Regiments of Renown and Workshop variants of Warpstone Tech units. The Dynasty Lords unlocked by Tomb King techs now have access to the Curse, like their unique brethren. Empire Knights no longer affected by techs and skills that explicitly only mention Right Guard. Giselles no longer get affected twice by Reject Poor Recruits and Enormous Caches techs. Fixed issues where certain variants of Empire characters were not affected by character buffs. Fixed an issue where the Amethyst Wizard wasn't part of the Empire Wizards unit setup group, thus not providing him with various campaign buffs and benefits. Amethyst Wizard upkeep is now reduced by 50% when recruited by Balthasar Gelt. Cool. Astromancer Follower now applies its bonus correctly. Luther Harkon no longer starts with a completed objective to destroy Zlan Huapek in Mortal Empires. Fix some instances of Vampire Count garrisons being led by invalid characters. Musalon Lord names will now display correctly. Scout terrain will now display the correct preview of the battle map. Okay. Oh, would that not do that sometimes? I don't know if I've ever noticed that. Anyways. Character names and threat indicator are now turned on by default for new campaigns. Good. People love character names. I always turn them on because they're great. And threat indicator, I don't know about that, but whatever. Strategic building icons, obelisks, will now only be shown in the campaign settlement UI bar when the faction that you are playing can build a unique building at the location. Okay. I see. End turn sequence camera setting button and tooltip updated to show the buttons use more clearly. Fixed inconsistent behavior of escaped key when closing panels. The character details panel will no longer close when hovering over an event message. Fixed puzzle selection of puzzle events overlapping any event opened subsequently. Fixed rare issues where the bar at the top of the UI was significantly extended. The Bretonnia Technology Grey Mountain Watch now provides the listed bonus chivalry. Skaven Under Empire is now displayed over the map next to the settlement flag. Fix the display of embedded agent icons on campaign armies which have 4 or more different types of hero in the army. Bray herds no longer use the underway stance icon. Okay. Buildings with a 5-figure buildings cost will now fit into the UI on a 4K resolution. I don't know what that was, but fixed an instance where the Under Empire VFX would remain on a settlement that had been captured by Skaven. Malekith has shed his angry bad guy facade and decided that running on the campaign map is no longer beneath him. Arch-Lecter will no longer swing his hammer through his head when in mustering stance. That's good. That's good, Arch-Lecter. They never said he was real bright, but now he doesn't hit himself in the head. Good. Oak of Ages now has ruined model when nuked. Good. Oh, that's good. I like that. So I'm going to go nuke the Oak of Ages. Malekith and Dreadlords now use armored versions of Cold Ones as mounts in campaign. Fixed an issue where armies could end up on top of a mountain around Oxel following a defeat in battle. Oh. Fixed a rare instance where 2 Anvil of Doom mounts could be displayed for Rune Lords on the campaign map. Interesting. Southern Spine of Sotek has 6 geomantic web connections. The connections were redistributed with other nearby provinces. Okay. The region border between Western Jungles and Great Desert of Araby now displays properly. Good. Characters will no longer clip through Hualatal when sieging the settlement. Magrita is no longer be partially submerged on the campaign map. Is that supposed to be read in like a pirate voice? Magrita is no longer be partially submerged on the campaign map. Maybe that sounds better. Or it just was a mistake. Chotek will now be shown in the correct location on the strategic map. Settlements and volcanic islands will now be shown in the correct location on the strategic map. Damn, there's so many fixes here. God, I love this. This always makes me so happy. I know I say this every time I do these, and I read them, but just it means this game has got so much more life left in it. You know, companies do not fix games like this that they're giving up on. You know, so it's always so positive to me. I mean, I know we got Game 3 coming and stuff, but, you know, CA could phone it in if they wanted to. They've made a lot of money on this game, but... And on Game 2, they don't need to do this. They're doing it, you know, because they're good. I really just... I love this. Fixed an issue where a character's weapons could spawn in the sea on the campaign map. Fixed an issue where 10 and 1 Tic-Tac-Toe and Naked Claw were not appearing in the game guide. Okay. Fixed an issue where by selecting the spell browser with Lord Croak in the battle loaded a blank page. Fixed missing lore icon for Lord Croak in the spell browser. Tooltip now correctly states the reason that a building cannot be built when a settlement is under siege. Oh, good. Not big thing, but awesome. The Book of Archon and Arisen Standard Bearer's effect descriptions now include Graveguard. Removed extraneous descriptive faction-wide text from Norskin Technologies. Fixed a typo in Heinrich Kemmler's Mountains of Madness chapter objective description. Fixed several instances of region names displaying in English for several non-English languages. Oh, okay. Tyrant of Nagron achievement now trigger in Mortal Empires when building the Black Tower of Malekith. Okay. The Forest Whispered My Name achievement will now trigger in the Mortal Empires when occupying Gain Vale in Orion's camp. Alright. Lothran Sea Helm achievement will now trigger in Mortal Empires. Lothran Sea Helm achievement description has been updated to state that it only unlocks when playing as High Elves. Family Feud achievement will no longer trigger when playing as Lizardmen. Fixed an issue in multiplayer campaign where if one player teleported to Lord Croak's quest battle, the other player would be shown a blank pre-battle screen. Fixed an issue where a white square was displayed behind the Menace Below button when playing as Clan Fester in multiplayer campaign. Huh. Just a little glitch in the graphics. The Under Empires can no longer be destroyed during the opponent's turn in head-to-head multiplayer campaigns. Wow, okay, so, geez, there's so much here. This is crazy. Okay. There's so much. So, battle bug fixes and improvements. Okay. Whew. The melee attack and melee defense bonuses granted by veterancy have been adjusted. It no longer favors defense. As a result, we've had to slightly retune Regiment of Renown unit stat lines to match their new rank 9 veterancy benefits. Most Regiment of Renown units see a change of a +1 to 3 melee attack and -1 to 3 melee defense from this change. Okay. Skaven Tier 3 and Tier 4 wall reinforcements are no longer the incorrect way around. Empire cannon towers will now correctly shoot cannonballs. Vampire Coast towers will now destroy correctly in siege battles. It is no longer impossible to cast Pestilent Breath while standing on a wall. Burning Alignment can no longer be placed on walls, preventing it from violently jittering in random directions. Tic-Tac-Toe can no longer capture buildings in siege battles. Alright. Fixed an issue where Lizardman defenders would idle during Rampage after sallying out in siege battles. Fixed an issue where passive ability phases triggered by casting wouldn't be reapplied anymore if you cast another spell while the phase was active. Explosion damage is now applied when the entity radius intersects with the explosion radius. Previously, entity center was used to detect whether explosion affected them, which created issues where small explosions dealt no damage when entity radius was larger than the explosion. Ah. Okay. I wonder if this will fix the Vampire Coast hero. the guy who buffs, he's like the master engineer for them. He has like some weird things like cackle fruit and stuff that doesn't seem like it does anything. Legion of Chak will now get Vanguard deployment when the army is in astronomy stance. Summoned zombie deckhands are no longer unable to specifically spot enemy units hiding in forests. We put their eyes back in, mostly. Adjusted the ground stat effect group of a large variety of units for accuracy. Adjusted the ground stat effect group of a large variety of units for accuracy. Some units had inconsistent relationships with water and forests. Interesting. So this might be why I cast a game recently of Aurora Boss playing as the dwarfs against the high elves, and he had two cannons going up against one bolt thrower, and the bolt thrower is essentially one. That one bolt thrower beat two cannons, which shouldn't happen. Like one cannon generally beats one bolt thrower pretty handily if the maps are flat, but I think that thing was sitting in water. Tic-Tac-Toe's improved Pterodon feature now grants an additional use of drop rocks of sundering to Powwow Sentinels. Tretch's Raiders have been slightly reworked. It is now always active, but nearby units only benefit if they themselves are currently winning combat, instead of relying on Tretch himself winning combat. Okay. Morgar's Ardor of Fury ability now applies Primal Fury to all units in Morgar's army. Wow. The warp token skill for Skaven casters no longer applies to the whole army. Amethyst Wizard's HP will now scale correctly with the unit size setting. Okay. Fixed Bloated Corpse having 25 bonus versus Cavalry instead of the intended bonus versus Large. Yeah, okay. That's the Gunnery Wight. That's the one I was saying just up above. Has some weird missile stuff. So the Gunnery Wight no longer shares missile weapon stats with the Master Engineer. Okay. I don't know what that means, but maybe... I don't know. We'll see. The upgraded Brave Scream now correctly upgrades to a stronger vortex. Fixed an issue where steam tanks could no longer fire their primary gun if they'd used up their secondary ammo. Well, that's actually pretty bad. Probably not common, but... Raven Heralds no longer have hide in forest. Turns out flying units can't hide. They can hide in the clouds. They can hide behind bigger flying units. But Raven Heralds now can't hide in the forest. Good. Luther Harkon no longer stops benefiting from the explosive bullet skill when he gains his mount. Adjusted spear and shield animations for Albrecht so he can properly splash attack on foot. Okay. Norscan Wolf Chariots should now display animations correctly when attacking. Fixed instances where Tic-Tac-Toe could become detached from his mount when hit. Fixed an issue where the red-crested skink chief would become detached from their Ripperdactyl mount when fleeing on the ground. Never seen that. Fixed instances of Lords on Cold Ones sometimes not playing knockback and death animations when hit with ranged attacks. Okay. Amethyst Wizard will now hold on to his sword while casting. Okay. Fixed an issue where Amethyst Wizard's staff moves between his hand and holsters during some animations. Female Glade Lord's arrow will now line up correctly with the bow when preparing to fire. Good. I've seen that somewhere and it always irritates me. And I wonder, I guess that's probably been doing it since day one. But anyway, Dreadlord, sword and crossbow, will no longer put up an invisible shield when under missile fire. Okay. Grey Wizard will now open his mouth during battle when vocalizing. Alright. He's probably just thought he was projecting that voice. Like a ventriloquist or something. Fixed an issue where the hands and legs of the dwarf cannon crew spinning while idling. Fixed an issue with the hands and legs of the dwarf cannon crew spinning while idling. I didn't know there was an issue. Hands and legs of the dwarf cannon crew spinning? Well, I gotta see that. Dwarf cannon crew spinning while idling? Okay. The attachment on Master Engineer's back will no longer snap between two positions during his firing animation. Okay. I've never noticed that. The Amethyst Wizard's staff should no longer clip through his mount's head while on an Imperial Pegasus. Oh, good. Fixed an issue where a siege crew for the Screaming Skull catapult would clip through the artillery. Good. Skaven's hands will now line up correctly with the rope on the plague furnace. Good. I love these little fixes. Like, the thing is, like, so many people make sort of cinematic videos that these things matter. And for just making the videos that much more beautiful or interesting, you know? The Rat-Ogre's hands will now line up correctly with the rope on the Screaming Bell. The Skaven's hands now line up correctly with the pump on the Doom Wheel. The Master Engineer will now hold his rifle correctly when in idle. Okay. Cetra's weapon will now sit correctly in his hand when using Chariot of the Gods. Cetra does not swerve. Alright. Amethyst Wizard's spell will now correctly emanate from the character model. The Amethyst Wizard now has appropriate VFX when attacking in melee. Good. Warpstone Doom Rocket now has a mushroom cloud when it hits water. Awesome. Star Chamber Guardians will no longer have their weapons VFX persist when climbing ladders. Warplock Jezzail projectiles will no longer disappear before they hit max effective range. The Gallows Giant flamethrower projectiles no longer disappear before they hit max effective range. That's good, because that always looked weird. Plague Monk Censor Bearer's censor will no longer appear above their heads when zoomed in battle. Fixed an issue with the Steam Tank's texture showing as low resolution. Oh, good. All variants of the Death Globe Bombardier should now display their poison globes properly. The Amethyst Wizard's beard should now display correctly. The armor on the Bray Shaman should now display correctly. Fixed an issue with the textures on the goblins' heads. Good. I have a new place to put my axe. Fixed an issue with the Rusty Error's hat, which would show partly as the wrong color. Fixed an issue with one of the Battle Pilgrim's head hair textures showing as white. Fixed an issue with stretched warp crystal on Doom Wheels. Fixed an issue where the Witch Hunter's boots did not connect to the Witch Hunter's legs correctly, showing a gap. That's good. Fixed a gap in the White King's shoulder armor. These are all small, but just, man, I love these. Fixed a gap in the Archlector's skirt. Peeping halflings will no longer get an eyeful. You know what halflings are like. They're all leches. Fixed a hole in Tyrion's model under his arm. Fixed a hole in the Dark Elf Sorceress's waist when sitting on any mount. Fixed a small hole on the back leg of the Amethyst Wizard's warhorse. Fixed a small hole in the back leg of the Amethyst... I made a mistake here. Improved lightning on some Skaven maps. Fixed repeating texture that was common on maps with water. Fixed an issue where shallow water in battles would use a deep sea water texture. Maybe that's why the water was always glitchy there. Fixed an issue where some units could clip through gates in Tomb King siege maps. Fixed the water clipping through the ground on the Iron Fist Isles battle map. Units will no longer be able to clip through the corner of the Black Ark battle map. Increased the deployment zones for both armies in the Moondial Island battle. Brass Keep no longer has a wall-blocking reinforcement entry point. Fixed an issue on Conquata, where Vanguard units would deploy in the corner, but not move due to obstacles preventing movement. Fixed an issue where several snow maps loaded without trees. Fixed multiple instances of islands in the unplayable area of some island battles not displaying any rocks or trees. Fixed instances of floating trees in several coastal maps around Lustria. Fixed instances of floating trees in Port Reaver siege map. Fixed instances of incorrect smoke placement in several coastal maps around Lustria. Fixed several instances of missing textures on the Black Pit battle map. Fixed a flickering issue that occurred on the roof of a building in the Black Pit siege map. Fixed a flickering issue that occurred on the roof of the building of the Port Reaver siege map. Fixed a missing texture inside a chimney on Conquata battle map. Fixed instances of floating foliage on the Storm Demon battle map. The camera will no longer move through the rocks of Tarantula Coast inland battle map. Non-offset summoning abilities, i.e. Raise Dead, will no longer have offset UI targeting indication. Ah, okay, I understand. So basically, it'll wherever you put your cursor, that's where it'll summon. Added an icon to display the base explosion damage on unit stats. Okay. During battle, if the player's army is reduced to only their general, the unit panel will no longer disappear. Fix several instances of overlapping banners in the quest battle menu. Maps in the quest battle menu should now show all regions properly. Creation of armies larger than 20 units should no longer be possible when the large armies button is not ticked in the custom battle. I didn't know it could be possible. That's weird. Fixed an issue in custom battle when changing between mounts, abilities, spells, and icons that cause the icons to overlap. Never seen it. Alberic's Tempete mount tooltip should now use the correct description in custom battle. The unit group description for Grail Reliquae is no longer states incorrectly that the unit deals magical attacks. Fixed an issue where multiplayer maps would load into the wrong map. Oh man, like some maps would just do that. So, like Ash Shadow Online Gaming. Lots of maps do that. So that's good. Fixed an exploit that allowed ineligible armies to be loaded into multiplayer battles. Interesting. Maps are now correctly grayed out in the multiplayer map list if the map requires a DLC which the player does not own. Ah, cool. AI bug fixes and improvements. Restructured and simplified AI data setup to subculture and not component driven. Okay. Adjusted recruitment globally to prevent too many small armies being recruited too early. Good. AI will now limit the amount of heroes in each army. Hopefully that works this time. AI will defend recently captured regions more actively. Good. That's actually really good. I like that. Because that's like, how many times I try and get my dwarf brothers to retake a settlement and they just won't do it. AI will now prioritize landmark buildings accordingly. Good. AI will now deconstruct growth buildings a little bit more actively. Good. Reduced research cost for the AI. That's good. Fixed an issue that prevented AI from receiving their quest items when attacking the relevant rank. Okay. Fixed an issue where the AI could get stuck attempting to recruit, but not actually performing any recruitment. Reworked the High Elves construction setup. Unblocked High Elves tech research in certain situations. Fixed an issue where Tyrion's army could end up with only archers available. Reduced Naggareth's aggressiveness. Improved Dark Elves slave economy and reworked construction setup. Dark Elves will now mainly use the loot and occupy to generate more slaves. Adjusted slave reduction modifiers and handicaps. Updated some Dark Elf skill hints. Updated Dark Elves right selection. Reduced Dark Elves spending on navies. Hag-Gref mines are now upgradable for the AI. Reworked Skaven construction setup. Okay. Fixed an instance where Skaven could not recruit new armies. Fixed an instance where Skaven won't recruit higher tier units. Fixed an instance where Lizardman research could get stuck without required buildings. Improved Tomb King recruitment priorities. Good. Reduced Exiles of Nehek aggressiveness. Vampire Coast factions will now recruit Carronades. Fixed instances where the Shanty armies would position next to the player and not attack. Adjusted Empire Diplomacy AI. Relations dictate now mainly if you can get non-aggression pacts, trade agreements, and military access. Adjusted Empire Diplomacy AI. Relations dictate now mainly if you can get non-aggression pacts, trade agreements. Okay. AI will now avoid constructing too many Goblin Tinkerer benches. Rebellion armies now include less high-tier units. That's good. Some Rebellion armies, you have to be careful how you build, because Rebellion armies could actually get pretty good. We've bribed Wa. We've bribed Wa armies with all the mushrooms we could get our hands on, and they will now follow orders more strictly. Excellent. Though I know that there are a lot of people that suggest WoW armies should be altogether different, but I think that'll come. Fixed instances where AI could end up with 2 copies of Sword of Cain. The battle AI, Greenskin and Bretonnian artillery will now attack settlement walls during siege battles. Okay. Battle AI no longer uses Doomwheel mounted Warlock Master like an Infantry Lord. Okay. Auto-resolver bug fixes and improvements. So low quality single entity units such as Bastiladon will now take less damage in the auto-resolver. Fixed an issue with damaged single entity units getting damaged excessively in the auto-resolver. Good. Sometimes like you just lose like your heroes. So hopefully that fixes that. Fixed an issue where missile units that ran out of ammo were able to return fire on enemy missile units, which was being used in the auto-resolver calculation. Oh. So ammo didn't matter as much. Interesting. Difficulty bug fixes and improvements. So line of sight decreases further for each difficulty level above normal. Eesh. Okay. So you can see less. That's actually a good difficulty improvement. AI units passively gain more experience each turn for difficulty levels above normal. That's a good idea, but... Huh. Alright. Graphics and performance bug fixes and improvements. Fixed a rare crash in DX12 battle. Fixed a memory leak in DX12 that occurred after changing graphics options. Added an option to the graphics settings to remove corpses over time. Fixed an issue where VFX wouldn't display if there were too many on screen. Fixed an issue where unit banners could flicker in subterranean battles. Fixed an issue where hero characters would display as the wrong level of detail on the lowest settings in the campaign map. Queek model will no longer turn into a Plague Monk model when zoomed out in battle. Fixed an issue that caused shadows to flicker in portals. Shadow Walkers now use the correct portal. And the Amethyst Wizard should now display correctly in his portal. Fixed an issue where Red-Crested Skink Chief's portal snaps between 2 positions on the campaign map. Sour Scar Veterans will now display blood in its portal when the blood pack is turned on. Oh, good. Croxagores will now display blood in its portal when the blood pack is turned on. Cohort of Sotek will now display blood. Black Hole Flares will now display blood. Warpfire's Wheel will now display blood. Resolution and UI scale should now be set more appropriately on ultra-wide monitors when launching the game for the first time. Audio bug fixes and improvements. Cool. I love these. Added new focus system to wide pool of creatures in war machines. This allows entities that are moving fightings to take priority over idle entities of the same type. Oh, cool. Improved how dragon vocalizations are handled in battle and campaign. Added a new projectile sounds for some races' defensive siege towers. Cool. Reworked the Luminarch projectile and firing sounds. Added new sounds for gyrocopter blades. Cool. Added new sounds for hell cannon pumps, firing, and movement. Remixed and reworked numerous groups of individual entity sounds. Reduced spamming on Pegasus and Hippogriff wing flaps. Adjusted the volume of Silostra in Diplomacy. Removed clicks from a few voiceover and movie assets. Delayed post-battle voiceover to avoid clashing with the UI. Adjusted values for high and low loyalty thresholds, so more negative and neutral lines should play when opening the character panel of a lord with middling low loyalty. Okay. Fixed some ability and spell sounds not triggering consistently. Fixed enemy and neutral Amethyst Wizards not triggering any voiceover when selected. Sorry. Adjusted the volume of some Empire campaign UI. Campaign fauna is now ducked during the end turn to reduce vocalization spamming. Huh? Campaign fauna is now ducked during end turn. I don't get it. Maybe like if you have campaign, just like, you know, sometimes you see animals and stuff in the campaign. They don't play their stuff now. Numerous small performance and integrity fixes and optimizations. Excellent. Optimize multiple groups of projectile types. Awesome. Optimize battle environment. Oh wow, we're already there. Okay, so optimize battle environment setup and removed unused assets. Updated campaign environment sounds to improve performance and be more efficient with the voice usage. Improve settlement and ambient loops. Reduce the number of spot tags and splines. I don't know what that means. Miscellaneous bug fixes and improvements. The game will no longer crash when attempting to play a replay. Oh, excuse me. The game will no longer crash. Excuse me. Sorry. Let's start that again. The game will no longer crash when attempting to play a replay that was created using mods which the player no longer has installed. Awesome. Incompatible save games can no longer be loaded by double-clicking on them in a list. Added a checkbox that allows players to load invalid saves. Proceed with caution as this may result in issues and crashes. Reordered factions slightly in several areas of the game to be more consistent. Okay. The claim-free content button for tic-tac-toe should now direct to the Steam page correctly. Alright. Cool. So that's a big long list, which is completely awesome. Now we're going to get to the character and unit balancing. This is fantastic. Alright. It's character and unit balancing. We'll go with Beastman. So we'll note single entity health adjustments display at the health change. The single entity health adjustments display the health change on Ultra. So multiplayer is played on large, so it'll be slightly smaller. Beastman. So the Beast Lord on foot, minus 100 cost. And this is across the board. Most foot lords have been reducing cost. This has been a long time issue where foot lords have been not nearly as good as mounted lords. So I think there's what CA is projecting is that they feel their mounted lords and some of their some of their mounted lords are in the place they want them to be. They're powerful, they're good, so they're just starting to reduce their cost on foot to try and get them to where they want to be. So the Beast Lord on foot costs 100 less gold. Although the Dao will never see a Beast Lord on foot because he can have a chariot, but that's the point. Is that you can bring him on foot, maybe there's a time to bring him. Kazrak the One-Eye on foot, minus 100 cost. Morgur the Shadowgave, minus 50 cost. And he can only be on foot. And that's interesting. I like what they're doing there. CA is saying, we're doing this for all foot lords. And Morgur is a good foot lord. I don't think he's OP, but he's quite strong, and he's the best beastman choice, and he's getting a cost reduction. The Gorbel, plus 1 walk speed, plus 6 run speed, and plus 5 leadership. Okay. Minotaurs. All Minotaurs get plus 1 walk speed, plus 6 run speed, so they're faster, and they can now hide in forests, and they all have plus 5 leadership. So Minotaurs are definitely... Oh, boy. I'm going to just read the next part. Minotaurs are definitely going to be seen more. So Minotaurs, minus 4 melee attack, plus 18 bonus versus infantry, plus 100 cost. Okay. Well, someone's going to bring Minotaurs against the Dao. Plus 18 bonus versus infantry. That's crazy. So essentially you get plus 14 stats. Well, you get plus 14 melee attack, plus 14 weapon strength versus the Dao for 100 gold. And normally you're looking at 2 stats for 25, so 8 stats per 100 gold. So that is very, very good. Minotaurs are, along with their hide and forest and leadership, are much better. Minotaurs with great weapons, plus one splash attack max targets, plus 0.05 splash attack power. Wow, okay. So this is hopefully make Minotaurs a little bit more interesting. I love it. Butchers of Kelkengard, plus 1 walk speed, plus 6 run speed, can now hide in forest, plus 5 leadership, plus 2 melee attack, minus 3 melee defense. So that's going with the Butchers of Kelkengard are a regiment of renown, and with the value of chevrons being changed and pushed from favoring melee defense to melee attack, that's where you're seeing they're getting plus 2 melee attack, minus 3 melee defense. So it's a net nerf of minus 1 melee defense. A -1 stat point. Oh, I want to sneeze there. Oh, excuse me. There we go. Excuse me. So that we'll see as pretty. All the regiments of renown have had a once over with these stats. So you're going to see, essentially, a lot are getting a nerf. That's small. Some are staying precisely the same with a priority towards doing damage as opposed to mitigating damage. So it should make the game a little bit more make games go a little quicker. Not much, very little, but it's not nothing. Okay, Chaos Spawn -100 gold cost, and a Giant -100 gold cost. You don't see Chaos Spawn a whole lot. You don't see Giants a whole lot. I doubt you'll see either against the Dowie, but you'll probably see them more in general. Oh man, Ungor Spearmen all have added Vanguard deployment in stock, +1 health per entity, +50 cost. That's a pretty big nerf. I mean, they're getting Vanguard in stock, which is a buff, but you're getting 50 extra gold for those Ungor Spearmen that are not very good, and the Spearmen with shields. Basically the Spearmen and the Spearmen with shields. They aren't very good units to begin with. You get a little extra health, but 50 cost that is a lot. Now maybe they see Vanguard and stock as being that valuable, and to be fair, stock probably is that valuable, but it's more valuable on a non-chaff unit, if you know what I mean. Like if you could have stock on Bestigors, now that's valuable, because they can get to the line before being seen. On Ungor Spearmen, where someone doesn't want to really waste all their stuff on them anyways, is not nearly as valuable. I think that +50 cost is way too much. Probably 25, maybe 25. I mean, I think you could add Vanguard and stock with no changes to health or cost, and it would have been fine. The Ungor Spearmen really aren't that great. We have done some testing on them. Anyways, the Destroyers of Drakkwald, they added Vanguard and stock, +1 health, +2 melee attack, -2 melee defense. Okay, there you go. So that's a good change. The Destroyers of Drakkwald, you'll probably see a little bit more. The Eye of Morsleib, +2 melee attack, -2 melee defense. Sons of Goros, +2 melee attack, -2 melee defense, -50 cost. I thought the Sons of Goros were those anti-large Bestigors. Let me see. Sons of Goros. I thought they were pretty good. If I wasn't, I might be mistaken. Beasthorn Ravagers, Destroyers of Drakkwald. It's the Korok Man Rippers that I'm thinking of. Where are the Sons of Goros? Oh, they're Centaurs. Okay. So they're going to be going to 1200. They do magic damage. The Dowie won't see them anyways. Okay. Not going to matter to the dwarfs, but I'm sure you'll see them maybe a little bit more. And the Blackhorn Ravagers, +3 melee attack, -3 melee defense. This is definitely a net buff for the Beastmen. Trying to make Minotaurs relevant, which I love. Chaos Spawn and Giants. The Spearmen, though, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Net buff for the Beastmen. It's interesting. I like it. And of course, they use Morgor most of the time anyways. That's just a straight 50 free gold for a great character. So these are all good. So Bretonia. Whew. Like Bretonia is like a page long. Interesting. Okay. I wish I could go down a little bit more precisely. Anyways, Bretonia. Alberic on foot, -100 cost. On a Barded Warhorse, -50 cost. Luan Leon Kur on foot, -100 cost. On a Warhorse, -50 cost. I love it. A Basic Lord on foot, -100 cost. On a Barded Warhorse, -50 cost. Paladin on foot, -50 cost. on a bartered warhorse, minus 25. The prophetess on a warhorse, plus 100 cost. On a bartered warhorse, plus 50 cost. So she must have been out compared to everyone else. Damsels are the same. Plus 100 cost on a warhorse, plus 50 cost on a unicorn. The Green Knight has Sacred Guardian is now free. Non-optional ability in custom battle. What's Sacred Guardian? So let's go to Bretonia. Dolores Blade. Sacred Guardian. Oh, this is at your... it did cost 75. But now it's free. And you just heal if you go in a forest. Okay, well, that makes sense. So it just comes with him. Okay, the Green Knight is not getting more expensive or anything. So basically, Green Knight got buffed. Grail Guardians, plus 1 melee attack, plus 1 AP. I got a buff. Pegasus Knights, plus 5 leadership. Tweaked animations for charging into land units to improve charges. Plus Royal Pegasus Knight, plus 10 leadership and tweaked animations for charging into land units to improve charges. Okay, well I guess they had they needed an improvement there. Now they have Defenders of the Fleur-de-Lis, plus 2 melee attack, minus 2 melee defense. These are your ROR changes. Knights of the Lion Hearted, plus 3 melee attack, minus 2 melee defense. Wardens of Montfort, plus 1 melee attack, minus 2 melee defense. Questing Knights, ROR. They're not called anything? They're Questing Knights, they're not called anything? It's the Companions of Kinnell. That's what they're called. They're just called the Questing Knights ROR. Okay. Beastlayers of Baston, plus 2 melee attack, minus 3 melee defense. Blessed Field Trebuchet. Projectile explosions ignore allies. Interesting. So, that's... Well, I guess that's what a Blessed Trebuchet does, right? It's blessed. Dark Elves. Crone Hellebron, minus 100 cost on foot. Lokir Fellheart, minus 100 cost on foot. Malekith, minus 100 cost on foot. Malekith on a cold one, minus 50 cost. Marathi on Siliphet now uses large entity ground stat effect group. That means that she will be not as good in forests, or she won't be affected by water the same, I think. The Sorceress on a Dark Steed, plus 50 gold. On a cold one, plus 50 gold. Supreme Sorceress on a Dark Steed, plus 50 gold. Supreme Sorceress on a cold one, plus 100 gold. Death Hag on foot, minus 100 cost. Dreadlord on foot, minus 100 cost. Dreadlord Sword and Shield on a cold one, minus 50. The Dreadlord Sword and Crossbow on foot, minus 100 on the Dreadlord on a cold one, minus 50. Raven Heralds can no longer hide in the forest. Okay, we talked about this. Plus 16 health per entity. Holy crap. Raven Heralds. Let's take a look at them, guys. That is a lot of health. So they're flyers. Rare monsters. Black. Chillisaucer. Raven Heralds. Oh, they're not flyers. Flying Missile Cavalry. Oh, okay. Well, holy crap. That's how much they're used. I've never seen them before. Okay, it's very fast. Vanguard, armor piercing. I think it's shocking. They must be really bad. Oh, they only have 18 models. 58 damage. Like, that's the kind of damage that a 45 model dwarf unit has. Like, Althar's Raiders, 58 damage, 60 models. These guys are 58 damage, 18 models. Oh, that's pretty bad, actually. 16 ammunition. These guys have 8 ammunition. So, I mean, that's pretty bad, actually. So what are they getting? Well, it doesn't really matter. They can get a pretty big buff before they're going to be good. Plus 16 health per entity. Yeah, absolutely. And melee attack, minus 2 melee attack, plus 2 melee attack, minus 2 melee defense. Okay. Cold One Chariot, plus 100 cost. Well, that's good for the Dowie. You don't see a whole lot of Cold One Chariots, but now you see less. Knights of the Ebon Claw, +2 melee attack, -5 melee defense. The Slaanesha's Harvesters, +3 melee attack, -2 melee defense. Sisters of Singing Doom, +3 melee attack, -2 melee defense. Blades of the Blood Queen, +3 melee attack, -3 melee defense. Bolt Fiends, +2 melee attack, -2 melee defense. The Helibroni, +1 melee attack, -3 melee defense. The Chill of Sontar, +1 melee attack, -2 melee defense. And the Reaper Bolt Thrower multi-shot, +3 bonus versus infantry per projectile. The Reaper Bolt Thrower. So it has a multi-shot. It can do bonus versus large of 50, and bonus versus infantry is 8. So they're going to have a bonus versus infantry of 11. So, you know, what's their missile damage? 177. Number of projectiles, 16. So so essentially they're going to get a missile damage against infantry of an additional 3 times 11. No, sorry, 3 times 16 over the amount of time, so 48 over however much time it is. Yeah, okay. Yep. You know, you don't see it switch to melee mode, that spray mode, a whole lot. Most people just leave them in their armor piercing mode. All right, now for the Dowie dwarfs. Ethereal dwarf units. +5 hit reaction ignore chance. +15 knock interrupt ignore chance. Awesome. That means they're going to be punted a lot less. -100 cost. Excellent. They might still be too expensive, but like they're 1,000 gold is their base price, I think. I think their base price is 1,000 gold. Here. Yeah, 1,000 gold. So their base price is going to go down to 900 gold. Still going to be expensive, but they do have fear and terror, and they are the dwarf's only source of fear and terror. Okay. A Lord. +5 hit reaction ignore chance. Awesome. +15 knock interrupt ignore chance. +200 mass. +5 melee attack. -100 cost. -2 splash attack max targets. +10 AP melee damage. -10 base melee damage. So a little more armor piercing. -2 splash attack targets. That might actually help them kill models faster. That could be good. -100 cost. So, I mean, really, let's just grab the Dowie here. He's going to be 900. So 900 gold for your basic Lord. Plus you'll have 50 melee attack. Okay. He'll be a little more rugged because he'll have he'll be a little more rugged because he has a hit ignore chance and a little more mass. I like it. And he has more AP. So good. Rune Lord, +5 hit reaction ignore, +15 knock interrupt ignore chance, +200 mass, -5 melee defense, -50 cost. So the Rune Lord is getting cheaper too. So he's going to go down. Is that 900 he'll go down to? Yep. No, he'll go down to 850. He'll be at 900. But he's going to have 40 melee defense. Okay, fair enough. Okay. The Rune Lord Anvil of Doom now uses large entity ground stat effect group. -5 melee defense and -50 cost. Okay, good. So does that mean... Okay, no, that makes sense. So the Runesmith, +5 hit reaction ignore chance, +15 knock interrupt ignore chance, +200 mass, -2 melee defense, -50 cost. So our Rune Lord is going to get a little bit wimpier. He's going to have 30 melee defense instead of 32. And he's going to be 550. Did that say? Yeah, he'll be 550. He'll be cheaper. Good. Footlord, that's great. Thane, +5 hit reaction ignore chance, +15 knock interrupt ignore chance, +200 mass, +5 melee attack, +1 melee defense, -100 cost, -2 splash attack max targets, plus 15 AP, plus 10 base melee. Wow, that's a big buff to the Thane. Essentially, he's going to be a 500 gold, good. And he's going to have Thane plus 5 and plus 1. So he'll go to 50 and 55. And then he's going to have 15 AP and 10 base. So his weapon strength is going to go up to 400. Yeah, right. It's good. So, I don't know. He might be able to kill models too in an infantry fight with attacking less. We'll see. All right. So he'll be 500. The Runesmith will be 550. The Thane will be 500. We don't know what his abilities are yet. The Master Engineer plus 5 hit reaction ignore, plus 15 knock interrupt, plus 200 mass, minus 100 cost. So I'll put him at the Master Engineer, instead of 750, 650. Yeah, he starts at 750, he'll go down to 650. You know, it's good. He should probably be, literally, he should be 150, 250 cheaper. Then maybe he might be usable. You know, that 100 is not going to get him there. But, you know, still 100 gold's 100 gold. Not nothing. Grom Brindle, plus 10 hit reaction ignore chance. So even bigger. Plus 10 knock interrupt ignore. Plus 600 mass, plus minus 100 cost. So he's 14. Is he 1450 right now? Base? 1500. So he's going to go to 1400. Good. Okay. And he'll just be a little more tanky, a little harder to knock around. Minus 100 cost, good. Belagar, plus 5 melee defense, plus 10 hit reaction ignore, plus 10 knock interruption ignore, plus 600 mass, minus 100 cost, minus 2 splash attacks. He has 8, so that'll put him to 6. Plus 5 melee defense, minus 100 cost. So Belagar is the best, so that'll put him down to 1,000 base. He's already at 1,100, so he'll go down to 1,000. Plus, he'll have Belagar. Plus 5 melee defense. Plus, he'll be 60 and 60. It's even more tanky at 1,000 gold. Belagar is already arguably the most competitive lord in the matchup versus the Vampire Coast. Arguably. I'm not saying he is. I mean, you can argue that he's competitive at least. Now he's going to be even more. He's going to have 5 melee defense, more mass, less cost. You know, we'll see. We'll see. You know. Ungram. Plus 10 hit reaction ignore, plus 10 knock interruption ignore, plus 600 mass, minus 100 cost. So that'll bring Ungram to 1250 base. He's 1350 now. So that's good. You know, in some of my builds I have Ungram as the lord that I use. Again, I like him in the Lizardman build. I'm not saying he's the best, but I like him in that matchup to feature him. So I have him also in my Beastman build, I think. So that's 100 gold free. I'll take it. And more mass and more interrupt chance, knockback interrupt chance, which is excellent. That's actually excellent. Okay, so Thorgrim Grudgebearer, minus 100 cost, plus 25 AP, minus 25 base. So he's just going to be a better combatant and cheaper. So I think he's at 1650, right? 1600. So he's going to be 1500. And he's going to have still 500 weapon strength, but he'll have 200 armor piercing and 300 weapon damage with the magic attack. 100 less. And he has a kit. Like, so Thorgrim is also, I don't know if he's arguably the most competitive lord in some matchups, But you can play him in some builds where he's very good. And if you watch the channel, you've seen Shetland Apache bring some pretty impressive Thorgrim builds. Zach B. Sane, and I have one build that I bring Thorgrim with. Of course, 2 builds, I think. So let's just cheaper. And better AP is always good. So, good for the dwarfs. And here's the thing. A lot of these Lord reduction in prices are going to be meaningless. Because they're still going to be brought on their, flying hippogriff or griffin. Like, Karl Franz is still going to be brought on his griffin that causes fear and terror so that he can terror bomb things. I mean, you could make him free. Well, maybe not. But you could make him a lot cheaper and people would still bring him on his mount. Because that's such a powerful fear and terror thing. Flame Cannon. Plus 150 cost. Plus 65 AP projectile. Plus 100 base projectile. So minus 36% projectile calibration error. So and plus 20 projectile. So it aims faster. Or it decides to calibrate sooner. And it can shoot a little farther if its projectiles go into place, and it does a lot more damage, and it costs a lot more. So that'll bring it up to what, 1,400? It's 1,250 right now. Yep. So that'll bring it up to 1,400. What's the missile damage? So it's going to move up. Plus 65 AP projectile, plus 100 base projectile. Huh. Armor piercing missile damage, 75. AP projectile damage. That'll bring it up to like, am I reading that right? That's going to bring it to 80 to 140? That's almost double. Plus 100 base projectile. So it's going to go from 160 to 260 and 75 to 140? That's a lot of damage. This is... I mean, this flame cannon already does a ton of damage. Like, there's no joke. You get hit by the flame cannon, I mean, it's gonna take half the health off of some units if it hits it just right. But it can take a big chunk. You add that with the Thane, and his 22% weakness to fire if you're shooting where he is, and he can use his 18% speed reduction, which will actually now synergize with the new Runesmith, because they're 72%, his 18 gives your 90%, which is your max. There might be a possibility. But I don't know why you would need the extra 22% damage. Like, the Flame Cannon already does a gargantuan amount of damage. Like, the problem is its range is so low, 230 range, and that's really hard to protect. Like, your Master Engineer does have entrenchment, but it's only 22% physical resistance, and plus 40% missile damage just doesn't help. Like, entrenchment would have to be plus 66% physical resistance. Then we have something. No armor piercing, and you can't move. Then you can actually, maybe you can bring this along with a Thane, a Runesmith, and a Rune Lord with their 44% negation and 22% negation, and sort of try to protect that Flame Cannon from getting too sniped out. But it's really hard, so the only matchup I bring it right now in is against the Wood Elves, because I can't snipe it. I mean, they can try with their Arrow of Kurnos or whatever they are, but the magic resistance of the Dowie helps protect it. And I guess you could try to bring it against the Vampire Count, but they can just dump a load of bats on it, and you can't do anything about it. Really, so the only matchup I think and I could be wrong, but I think you can't bring it against Dark Elves, absolutely. You can't bring it against High Elves. I brought it twice. I brought it once and they didn't have bolt throwers. I brought it the second time they had bolt throwers and I never even got a single bit of damage with it. You can try to bring it against Beastmen, but again, he brings Harpies. That's it. Chariots are a struggle. You could try to bring it against Chaos. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. That's going to do a massive amount of damage, but 1,400 gold? I don't know. It's a high risk reward item. It's already, the thing is, this flame cannon already does a lot of damage. Like, if you tested this yourself or you've seen it used, I mean, it does a ton of damage. The problem is not the damage. The problem is not that it doesn't do enough damage, and now it's going to essentially do, you know, we're going to call it 50% more damage for 150 more gold. Still going to be good against the high, the sort of the wood elves, but it'll just be better against a faction. It doesn't matter, right? I mean, the dwarves are so much better than the wood elves. It doesn't even matter what you bring, really. But, the organ gun, plus 10 calibration distance, which is good. That means it calibrates earlier. It'll shoot sooner. Minus 5 projectile calibration area. Minus 5%. So, okay. The Goblobber, minus 2 melee attack, minus 2 melee defense against the Regiment of Renown. Dragonback Slayers, plus 3 melee attack, minus 3 melee defense. Miners, plus 2 melee attack. Happy day. So they're going to go from 18 to 20. It's small, but it's not nothing. You know, miners at 325 gold, they're worth about 225 gold, we'll say 250 gold. Now they're worth sort of 250 to 275 gold. I don't know, 25, two stat points is about 25 gold. You know, around there. Miners with blasting charges, plus 2 melee attack, plus 25 cost. So your blasting charges, I mean, at 425 gold, they'll still be worth it. You just get 2 melee attack for free. Those blasting charges are powerful. So, I mean, it'll still be worth it in the right situation, let's say. But your 2 melee attack will get you a little bit more damage. Bugman's Rangers. So let's just double check. Yeah. We're going to go 325 to 325, 18 to 20 melee attack. 400 to 425. And I wonder if the Ekron Miners got it as well. Let's just take a look for them Ekron Miners. Did they get Ekron Miners? Plus 3 melee attack, minus 2 melee defense. I don't know if they got it. So that's definitely a net buff. You know. Bugman's Ranger, though, this is a nerf. Big one. Bugman's Rangers, to be fair, are amazing. Bugman's Rangers plus 50 cost, plus 2 AP, plus 2 projectile damage, plus 3 reload time. So reload's going to be slower, so their DPS is going down in terms of against an unarmored target, whereas their DPS will go up. Their DPS may go up or remain the same against an armored target. The cost does go up by 50 gold. They go from 750 to 800. Probably pretty reasonable. I mean, they've been nerfed a lot, though, the Bugman's Rangers, but, you know, I mean, Dowie, you have such a good backline, you don't really need them. Their backline is so good. So basic Rangers, plus 25 cost, plus 2 AP, plus 2 projectile damage, and plus 2 reload time. So what they're doing is they're doing, I know they're separating archers from quarrelers. They're separating bows from crossbows, which is good. Crossbows should have more AP, and bows should reload faster. Good, fair enough. And this hopefully, like if you look at the matchups where the dwarfs are good, this won't make it. This won't make a difference. Not much of a difference. Where dwarfs are bad, this won't make that much of a difference. But where dwarfs are good, this like adding 25 cost to the Rangers will make them not quite as good. Quarrelers, plus 2 AP, plus 2 projectile damage, plus 2 reload time. So the base Quarrelers are going to stay at 550. Rangers are going to be 525 now because they're going up 25 gold. So Rangers, everyone was using them. To be fair, that's a fair change in price for basic Rangers. And Quarrelers, and Quarrelers are going to do less DPS again. Now, Quarrelers with great weapons. This is interesting. Quarrelers with great weapons are on the cusp of in my opinion, being a worthwhile unit. Now, I do have one build where I have been bringing Quarters with Great Weapons. Two builds, rather. One where I was bringing a single unit against the Lizardman, and another where I was bringing 2 units against Chaos. And they would, and if you watch those games, I mean, they just held up a little bit better. They were not awful. And with that +2 melee attack, they're getting +2 melee attack, +2 AP, +2 projectile, and +2 reload. So the DPS is going to go down, but their AP goes up. It's good. It's good in those matchups. Helps in those matchups. The AP, the 2 melee attack, again, will just help them do a little bit more damage back to things that sort of get in the back line. You know, like I would love to see Quarters of Great Weapons, you know, be a little bit more of a thing. You know, I love it. So, Ekron Miners, +3 melee attack, -2 melee defense. Norglemein's Ironbreakers, +2 melee attack, -4 melee defense. Scolder Guard, +2 melee attack, -2 melee defense. The Grumbling Guard, +2 melee attack, -3 melee defense. The Peak Gate Guard, +3 melee attack, -3 melee defense. Ulthar's Raiders, +2 melee attack, -2 melee defense. Warriors of Dragonfire Pass, +2 melee attack, -3 melee defense. Gyrocopters with Brimstone Guns, +15 bonus versus large. So, I mean, Gyrocopters with Brimstone Guns, basic Gyrocopters are, I mean, you see my builds. I'm bringing 1 Gyrocopter with Brimstone Guns in a number of builds because, A, the mobility is good and it can control it, and they can get some chip damage in. +15 bonus versus large just equals more chip damage. It's good. Their DPS, their damage per second is very low. You know, but that +15 bonus versus large is definitely going to help. So I like that they're paying attention to them. No mention on gyro bombers, but the Brimstone Guns +15 bonus versus large, interesting. Okay, Skyhammer +3 melee attack, -1 melee defense. Dwarf Warriors of Great Weapons +2 melee attack. Hooray! All right, boys and girls, we did it. It's, you know, I don't know if we had an impact on this. Dwarf Warriors with Great Weapons +2 melee attack. I'd like to think that we did, because we did the testing. We posted the testing. We posted our live tests. We posted the comparison units, and we went through and put forward, I think, a reasonable argument to buff up Dwarf Warriors with Great Weapons on the forums, and they show up very last. So by the time I put my testing on and they saw it on the forums, this was already pretty much in the can. The very last thing is Dwarf Warriors with Great Weapons. So I like to think, I don't know that we had an impact on that, but I'm going to believe that we did, which is completely awesome. Now, ironically, I put a post on with miners and miners with blasting charges quite a bit earlier. So again, I don't know if we had an impact, but the one I really wanted to do, like, what a way I'd like to see miners. I'd like to see them be underground. But I did talk about, you know, blasting charges being worth a lot, miners needing to be a little bit better, but really what I wanted to see was not that. So I don't know if we had any impact on that at all. But I feel like we had an impact on Dwarf Warriors with Great Weapons. So we'll see. Dwarf Warriors with Great Weapons +2 melee attack. They should win that matchup now versus the High Elf Spearmen. Hopefully they can win versus the Bretonnian Men-at-Arms, Polearms, but we'll see. So, you know, that maybe we had an effect. Because how many hours of testing? Probably got 10 hours of live testing. Dwarf Warriors of Great Weapons in their group. Love it. So I mean, these changes, Dwarf Warriors of Great Weapons +2 melee attack, and Miners +2 melee attack, are big changes. It's really good for the Dowie. Quarters of Great Weapons is an interesting one. Are they going to be viable in more matchups? They might be. Although, you know, their quarrels. I mean, I mean, they're going to do more damage, but they're going to do it slower. So they have more spike damage, which probably is a good thing. You know, if you get 4 quarters and they all hit the same thing, you'll get a lot more spike damage. But it'll be more like a Trollhammer Torpedo that does a ton of spike damage, but it has a long reload time. I think I like that. I think that is the better way to go. Because you prefer getting surprise damage on a target than steady damage. Like, surprise damage is a lot more effective than steady damage, so that's good. So all of the Rangers and the Quarters are great weapons, and the Bugman's Rangers all got more spike damage. The Bugman's Rangers got a pretty big nerf, though. Pretty big nerf. Plus 50 cost, plus 3 reload time, where the other two got plus 2 reload time. Flame Can, I still don't know what to think about that. It's going to be absolutely crushing if you happen to bring a Flame Cannon and your opponent has no answer to it. I mean, it could be completely devastating as a unit. But that's so risky. It's 1,400 gold instead of 1,250. 1,250 is risky. And the hero choices? Like, I know some guys like to play competitive with just a basic lord anyways, so it's 100 free gold for them and a character that's better. You know, more AP, more melee attack, more hit ignore chance. So these all look like they're pretty good. Yeah. That's certainly not bad. Now, is that change to the thing going to make him good enough? I don't think so, but we'll see if he gets any changes to his items. Master Engineer is in the same situation. But these heroes like Grombrindle, minus 100 cost. Okay, Beligar's so Beligar might actually be the go-to quote unquote naked lord. I mean, if you look, I know they're going to bring the base lord down to 900 gold. But with Beligar, you're going to get a lot of extra stat, 400 more mass. A silver shield. So like, I can see Beligar doing quite well in this. We'll see. And Ungram, 1,250. I already bring in one. Thorgrim, minus 100 gold. That's good for the Dowie. All right. So let's keep going. So Empire, here's Karl Franz. On foot, minus 150 gold. That's fine. I doubt you'll ever see Karl Franz on foot, but I like that option's there. Karl Franz on a Warhorse, minus 50 gold. On a Barded Warhorse, minus 100 gold. Toddy on a something foot, minus 100 gold. Toddy on a something Barded Warhorse, minus 50 gold. Balthasar Gelt on foot, minus 100 gold. And you might see Balthasar Gelt on foot against the Dowie. Balthasar Gelt on a Barded Warhorse, minus 50 gold. Volkmar the Grim on foot, minus 100 gold. On a Barded Warhorse, minus 50. The Arch Lector on foot, minus 100. On a Barded Warhorse, minus 50. And Empire General on foot, minus 150. On a Warhorse, minus 50. On a Barded Warhorse, minus 100. The Empire Captain on foot, minus 75. On a Warhorse, plus 25. On a Barded Warhorse, minus 25. Interesting. The Warrior Priest on foot, minus 50. On a Warhorse, plus 50. Empire Wizards on a Warhorse, plus 100. Empire Wizards on a Barded Warhorse, plus 50. The Jade Wizard on a Pegasus can no longer hide in forests. The Grey Wizard on a Pegasus can no longer hide in forests. The Amber Wizard on an Imperial Griffin has a plus 560 health. Crossbowman, same treatment as the Dowie, plus 25 gold, plus 2 AP, plus 2 projectile, plus 2 reload. So they're quite a bit cheaper than Dwarf. I think they're 50 cheaper. Dwarf Quarters 50, Rangers 500. Dwarf Quarters 550, Rangers 500, going to be 525. What are their quarters at? I thought they were like 450 or something. I could be wrong though. Maybe the same price. 500. 475 for the crossbowmen. So they will now be 500. So they'll still be 25 cheaper than the Dowie, but they're going to have plus 2 AP. So their missile damage is going to be 6 AP instead of 4. Not nothing. Plus actually it's going to be, their missile damage is going to go from 21 to 25. Right? Plus 2 missile and plus 2 AP. Is that correct? Yeah. Plus 2 AP, plus 2 regular. Sunmaker, plus 1 melee attack, minus 1 melee defense. The Royal Altdorf Griffites, plus 3 melee attack, minus 3 melee defense. Zintler's Reichsguard, plus 2 melee attack, minus 3 melee defense. Sigmar's Sons, plus 3 melee attack, minus 3 melee defense. The Silver Bullets, plus 2 melee attack, minus 3 melee defense. Sterling's Revenge, plus 2 melee attack, minus 3 melee defense. The Tattersouls, plus 3 melee attack, minus 2 melee defense. The Tempelhof Luminarch, plus 1 melee attack, minus 1 melee defense. The Steam Tank, plus 2 melee attack. Steam Tank is, where we go? Where is that Steam Tank? It's expensive too. So it's 2,200 gold and has 32 melee attack and 10 melee defense, which is abysmal. It'll now have 34 melee attack. I don't know if that makes a difference, but we'll see. Hellblaster Volley Gun, minus 50 cost, plus 20 base and AP projectile. Whew! Hooray! The Hellblaster, so here we're going to, as the Dowie, we're going to see this thing. Hellblaster, it'll be 1,100 instead of 1,150. Instead of 20% more damage. What am I, like 700 missile damage? Is that, am I mistaken there? 20% base and AP. I have 700 damage. Holy crap. Interesting. The Hellstorm rocket, like, I mean, good for Empire and be good against the Dowie, and the Empire definitely needs tools against the Dowie. Same with the Hellstorm rocket battery. Plus 4 base explosion damage, plus 9 AP. That's going to be good against the Dowie too. Sunmaker, plus 4 base explosion, plus 9 AP explosion. Again, good against the Dowie. Demogryph Knights, but they're really, Hellstorm rocket batteries, yeah, they get more damage. They're still very inaccurate. Demogryph Knights, minus 50 cost. Alright, that's, I mean, technically good against the Dowie because they're AP anti-infantry, right? Yeah, AP anti-infantry. Demogryph Knights. So they're going to be 1,400. I mean, you do see them, but they're not that strong. Alright. Outriders. Fixed an issue where reloading transitions were capping rate of fire. Pistoliers, same thing. Fixed an issue where reloaded transitions were capping the rate of fire. Greenskins. Alright, looks like Grimgor got the same treatment as the Dowie, so this is why I do quite like cheering for Grimgor to get buffed, because it seems like he is essentially parallel to Dowie buffs in every way. So if Grimgor gets a buff, all the Dowie lords get a buff. So I cheer for Grimgor. He's got increased acceleration and deceleration, plus 10 hit reaction ignore chance, plus 10 knockback interrupt ignore chance. He doesn't have any more mass, minus 100 cost. Good for him. Night Goblin War Boss on foot, minus 50 cost. Skarsnik on foot, minus 100 cost. Azag on foot, minus 100 cost. Orc War Boss on foot, minus 100 cost. Orc War Boss on the boar, minus 50. The Goblin Big Boss on foot, minus 50 cost. God, big bosses are cheap already. I think, were they 150 or 200? I think big bosses are 250 gold or something. Let's just go see. Goblin Big Boss. Sorry, 300 gold. So that'd be 250 now. Goblin Great Shaman on foot, minus 50 cost. Great Shaman on a Great Wolf, minus 50 cost. The Hammer of Gork, plus 1 melee attack, minus 1 melee defense. Deaf Creepers, plus 1 melee attack, minus 2 melee defense. Durkit Squigs, plus 2 melee attack, minus 2 melee defense. Morgrub's Magi Marauders, plus 1 melee attack, minus 2 melee defense. The Moon Howlers, plus 2 melee attack, minus 2 melee defense. The Teeth Robbers, plus 2 melee attack, minus 2 melee defense. The 8 Peak Loonies, plus 2 melee attack, minus 3 melee defense. The Rusty Errors, plus 1 melee attack, minus 2 melee defense. The Warlord's Boys, +2 melee attack, -3 melee defense. The Crimson Killas, +2 melee attack, -2 melee defense. The Arachnarok Queen, +3 melee attack, -3 melee defense. Doom Diver Catapults, +50 gold. Doom Divers are still going to be good, but it's 50 gold. Is that going to bring up to 850? Are they 800 now? Doom Divers, 900. So I'll bring up to 950. Yeah, they're dangerous. Like, you know. Yeah. So Doom Divers are good. +50 gold. Fair enough. Giants -100 gold. So is that going to make a giant 1500? Yeah. So the Giants are 1600. Make it 1500. Still not going to see that as a Dowie. Just not. 30 armors just can't cut it. Okay. High Elves. Here we go. Alariel on foot, -50 gold. Alariel on a steed, +50 gold. So she's going to get nerfed and buffed. Now, against the Dowie, you can bring her on foot. So 50 gold cheaper. Lithanar, -100 gold. The Prince on foot, -100 gold. A Prince on a Barded Elven steed, -50 gold. A Princess on foot, -100 gold. A Princess all have +5 projectile mass. Teclis on a Barded Elven steed, +50 gold. Tyrion on foot, -100 gold. The Handmaiden on foot, -100 gold. The Handmaiden on a Barded Elven steed, -50 gold. The Mage on an Elven steed, +50 gold. +50 gold. The Noble on foot, -50 gold. Dragon Princes, -100 mass. I mean, Dragon Princes, I guess, were too heavy. Fireborn, -100 mass, the same as the Dragon Prince. They're their Regiment of Renown. +2 melee attack, -3 melee defense. The Heralds of the Wind, +2 melee attack, -5 melee defense. That's a pretty big nerf. Ever Queen's Court Guards. +2 melee attack, -3 melee defense. Keepers of the Flame, +3 melee attack, -3 melee defense. The Grey, +2 melee attack, -5 melee defense, -50 cost. They must be expensive. How are the Grey? The Grey, Shadow Warrior. So they're going to be 1200. Now they're going to be 1150, and they have stock and snipe and everything. Okay. So they'll be 1150. The Scions of Matlan, +2 melee attack, -3 melee defense. A Pure Main Company, +2 melee attack, -3 melee defense. Technically that's good for the Dowie. It's a net nerf of 1 stat point. Storm Riders, +2 melee attack, -3 melee defense, -50 cost. What's a Storm Rider? Storm Rider. The Storm Riders, Lothern Seaguard. Okay. They were 900 gold, and now they're going to be 850, I guess. Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower, that multi-shot has +3 bonus resiliency per projectile. So that's a decent buff to the Bolt Thrower. But, you know, I have never tested it, but a lot of people said that it did perform quite poorly in multi-shot. All right, Lizardman. So I would say not much has changed as far as the Dowie go. If anything, Alariel on foot, which is a potential use anyways, is now 50 gold cheaper. So could be a slight buff if you want to look at it that way. Yeah. Not much. And they got a buff to the Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower. So definitely a slight buff to the High Elves versus the Dowie, but not much. Alright. So Lizardman. Crockguard +5 leadership, -100 cost on foot. Mazda Mundi on his palanquin, +50 gold. The Saurus Old Blood on foot, -100 gold. And yes, you do see Saurus Old Bloods on foot against the Lizardman. So that's a bit of a buff. Red Crested Skink Chief on foot. Again, you do see that. 100 gold cheaper. 10 and 1 on foot. 100 gold cheaper. Sour Scar Veteran on foot. You never see them. -100 gold. The Slan Mage Priest +100 gold. The Skink Chief on foot, -100 gold. The Skink Priest on a Pterodon, plus 200 gold. Whoo! That's a lot. Lord Croak, plus 300 gold. So that's a big increase in the cost for Lord Croak. Alright. Salamander Hunting Pack. Slightly increased turn speed, so it's slower. Or did it increase it so it increase it as in makes it turn faster? Minus 10 armor, now uses splash attacks against small targets. Well, that's not good. Minus 8 AP projectile, that is good. Plus 8 base, plus 3 base explosion, minus 2 AP explosion. So a nerf of the Salamander Hunting Pack versus the Dowie. Umbral Tide, same treatment. And a nerf versus the Dowie. Ancient Salamander, plus 3 AP, minus 3 base, so that's a buff versus the Dowie. Croxagores, reduced charge distance from 45 to 30. They have plus 2 AP, plus 1 base melee. Oh, so Croxagores are a little bit better. Stegodons, minus 10 armor. That's good. Ancient Stegodons, minus 10 armor, plus 1 reload time for giant blowpipes. The Thunderous one, minus 10 armor, plus 2 melee attack, minus 3 melee attack. A Feral Stegodon now uses large entity ground stat effect group, minus 100 gold. And a Stegodon, minus 50 gold. Feral Cold Ones, plus 8 health per entity. Hooly! That is a massive buff. Not that Feral Cold Ones are good, but that's a big, big buff. We're definitely going to see those, because they're armor piercing. You are definitely going to see Feral Cold Ones in this matchup. Though they're still going to be weak, Feral Cold Ones, I'm afraid. They're okay, but they rampage. That's the problem with Feral Cold Ones. And once you get them rampaging, they're just dead. But they're at only 450 gold, 8 health per unit. There's 24 of them. Yeah, okay. Maybe it's not that big of a buff. There is only 24. I think you're going to see them. I know lots of people like to bring them versus the Dowie, but I mean, they have so little health. It's so easy to get them to that 20% marker or whatever. I mean, it's easy to rampage them. Once you rampage them, that's it. Feral Cold Ones are gone. So it's a risky unit versus the Dowie, but plus 8 health, I think you'll see them. The Feral Bastillodon now uses large entity ground stat effect group, so they're not as good in trees. Bastillodon, the Archosotek, minus 50 gold. The Bastillodon Rev Crystal added casting animations. Interesting. The Feral Carnosaur now uses large entity ground stat effect group. Excellent. They're going to slow down in trees. The Pawkapaw Cohort, plus 2 melee attack, minus 3 melee defense. Colossadon Hunters, plus 2 melee attack, minus 2 melee defense. The Powhawk Sentinels, plus 2 melee attack, minus 2 melee defense. The Legion of Chakwa, plus 2 melee attack, minus 3 melee defense. Red Crested Skinks, plus 25 cost. Now, this is weird. I saw that post and I was like, damn, that's awfully strange. Because Red Crested Skinks are nothing special. Like, they're kind of okay. They're not awful. They're not great. In our melee testing. Now, that's in just a melee test. They're not awful, they're not great. But outside of melee, they are super vulnerable. They're vulnerable. I mean, they got good speed, I think, at 46, which is important. It's not nothing. But they're super vulnerable to missiles. They're super vulnerable to blasting charges. They're super vulnerable to anything. And they're not even loosely packed. They're actually pretty tightly packed. So they're not like a White Lion who's loosely packed and it's hard to get some damage on them. They have no armor. They're tightly packed and they're easy to deal with. And then in the Dowie matchup, they already, for their cost, lose pretty handily to Longbeards. And now they're going to be 25 more expensive. So they're going from 575 to 600. That is a nerf, big nerf. I mean, maybe they were just overperforming. I don't know how, though. They're not that great. Like, this might be one of those things where everyone... You know where I could see this? So I've just been thinking about this a little bit. You know why those might have gotten nerfed? Is because the Lizardmen have been doing very good. Why have the Lizardmen been doing good? Well, they've got a lot of units. They can bring a lot... They can bring very different builds. If you've been watching Falcon play, bring a lot of different builds. But everyone's bringing red-crested skinks. So, other units might actually be doing a lot for the Lizardmen, and all these varied builds might be doing a lot for the Lizardmen in terms of being able to win more games. But what CA is seeing is Red Crested Skinks have an uneven stat buff to the win rate, or at least they appear so because they're showing up so much. Whereas in reality, it's other units and the ability to even make, because it's not like the Lizardmen could make a lot of different builds, and now they can. So maybe that's it. Because the Red Crested Skinks are not amazing, and Skink cohorts are not. They're actually pretty bad. But they mainly got shields, and they got the aquatic trait. So interesting. Cohort of Sotek, +2 melee attack, -2 melee defense, +25 cost, a straight up nerf. Cohort of Sotek, too, though, is a pretty good unit. Temple Guards, -1 melee attack, a big nerf versus the Dowie. Star Chamber Guardians, +1 melee attack, -3 melee defense, +5 missile block chance. So, net, the Lizardmen have definitely gotten worse versus the Dowie in an all-around sense, but in an optimized sense, they're probably a little better. Why do I say that? It's because you shouldn't be bringing Red Crested Skinks against the Dowie, I don't think. Maybe two of. But lots of people bring Temple Guards. You know, the unit to bring against the Dowie are Saurus Warriors with Shields. But now you can only bring 5? I don't know. And then you bring like Saurus Blood on foot, or, you know, for that, whatever his big ability is, or Red Crested Skink Chief on foot. And you're bringing your army, essentially, you're bringing the correct army 100 gold cheaper, and Croxagores are better. +2 AP, +1 base melee damage. So, we'll see. And the Lizardmen have gotten worse and better versus Dowie. They've gotten worse for what people will bring, because they're still going to bring Red Crested Skinks, and some people are still going to bring Temple Guards. And Temple Guards might actually be the right infantry to bring against the Dowie. I honestly don't know. They're really good. But I don't think they can. Because they take so long to get through the Dowie front line. They can't be correct. Anyways, I'm going to say, for most people playing, it's a net nerf to the Lizardmen versus the Dowie. For the top players, it's a net buff, because they'll be able to bring a Lord on foot for 100 gold less, and Croxagores will be more effective. And Feral Cold Ones. They might be able to bring 1 or 2 units of Feral Cold Ones, and that +8 health could really help. So I'm going to say net buff against good players for Lizardmen against the Dwarfs. Against most, it's a net nerf. Norska. Wolfric, -100 gold on foot. On Chariot, +50 gold. That is good. On a Mammoth, -712 health, -2 melee defense, +200 cost. Wow. That is a big nerf. Marauder Chieftain on foot, -100 gold. On a Mammoth, -712. Now has forest terrain penalties for being a large entity, -2 melee defense. +200 gold. The Feral Mammoth now has forest terrain penalties for being a large entity, -2 melee defense. War Mammoth, -672 health, now has forest terrain penalties, -2 melee defense. Soul Crusher, -672 health, now has forest terrain penalties, +1 melee attack, -5 melee defense. War Mammoth War Shrine, +20 charge speed, +16 run speed, -500 mass, now has forest penalties for being a large entity. Mammoth's got a massive nerf. Doesn't matter against the Dowie, but I'm going to tell you, Mammoths are good. Now, so this will, I don't know if this makes them bad. I don't know if this makes them normal, but in non-Dowie matches, they're really good. The Hounds of Tashnar, +2 melee attack, -2 melee defense. Norscan Warhounds, they added Vanguard. Icehorn Marauders, +2 melee attack, -3 melee defense, -50 cost. Alright, you might see those against the Dowie. Marauder Hunters with Javelins, +50 cost. Marauder Hunters with Throwing Axes, -50 cost. That is a definite buff versus the Dowie. Brutes of the Hound, +3 melee attack, -3 melee defense. Fimir Warriors, -5 charge bonus, -4 melee attack, +10 leadership, +100 cost. That is a big nerf. Miststalkers, -5 charge bonus, +10 leadership, -2 melee attack, -4 melee defense, plus 100 cost. Huge nerf. Femira Warriors with great weapons, -8 charge bonus, -3 melee attack, -1 melee defense, plus 10 leadership, plus 100 cost. Plus 100 cost. So, Mist Stalkers and Femira Warriors with great weapons. Wow, that's a big nerf. So this match is already slightly Dowie favored. So it's definitely pushing the Dowie way. So that Wolfric on Chariot is the right lord, and he's an extra 50 gold, and their Mist Stalkers from Air Warriors are more expensive. Norskin Giant, -100, doesn't matter. Skin Wolves Armored, +2 charge bonus. Skin Wolves, +2 charge bonus. Maws of Savagery, +2 charge bonus, +3 melee attack, -3 melee defense. The Shaman Sorcerer, Norskin Warhorse, now uses large entity stat effect group. The Skin Wolf Werekin now uses large entity stat effect group. So I would say it's a net nerf for Norska versus the Dowie. For sure. For sure. It's a net nerf. Skaven. Okay, here we go. Tretch Craventail, -100 gold on foot. Ikit Claw, -100 gold on foot. Ikit Claw on a Doomflayer now uses large entity ground stat effect group, and he removes Scurry Away. Queek Headtaker, -100 gold. That is a definite buff for the Skaven versus Dowie, because I know lots of guys do like to bring Queek just because they don't get to play him elsewhere. Warlock Master on foot, -50 gold. Warlock Master Doomflayer now uses large entity. Warlock Master on a Doom Wheel now uses large entity stat effect group, +1 melee defense, removes Scurry Away. Assassin, -50 gold. Plague Priest, -50 gold. Warlock Engineer, +50 gold. Warlord on a Bonebreaker, +3 entity, +0.3 entity radius. Increased splash attack force by 50%. Warpfire Throwers, +25 health per entity. Holy! Warpfire Throwers. How many do they got in a group? Like 18? Skaven. Warpfire Throwers. Where are they? 24. Okay. +25 health per entity is a lot. So maybe we'll see some Warpfire Throwers. That'd be kind of fun. Hell Pit Abomination now uses large entity ground stat effect group. Rat Ogres now use large entity ground stat effect group. Ikit's Zap Zap, +2 melee attack, -2 melee defense. Clan Vulcan Tail Slashers, +2 melee attack, -2 melee defense. Plague Monk Sensor Bearers, -50 cost. Doubt you'll see those versus the Dowie, but they are armor piercing and anti-infantry. Plague Monk Sensor Bearers are 1100, I think. Where are they? Plague Monk Sensor Bearers, 1100. Yeah, they have magic damage. You're not going to see them anyways. Yeah. -50 costs are going to be 1050. Blight Scab's Plague Pack, +2 melee attack, -3 melee defense. Poison Wind Globadiers, -2 reload time. That is not great for the Dowie. Poison Wind Globadiers you do see from time to time. They're armor piercing, I do believe. Poison Wind Globadiers? Oh, but they're magic damage. They're anti-large. So, okay, no worries then. I was maybe thinking of something else. Death Bomb Globadiers, I think. Yeah. Death Globe Bombardiers. They're anti-infantry, but they do magic damage. Okay. Teeth Breakers, +2 melee attack, -2 melee defense. Storm Vermin Halberds, +1 melee defense. That's good. Storm Vermin Halberds are actually pretty weak. A little bit weak. Council Guard, +2 melee attack, -2 melee defense, +50 cost. Alright, everyone was bringing Council Guard. Natty Bubo Sharpshooters, +2 melee attack, -10 melee defense, -25 projectile range, so that'll bring them to 275 range. Good. +50 cost. +20% increase in projectile calibration area. Increased projectile expiry range to 550 meters. That is a big nerf. Big nerf. A capital N. Now, Netty Bubo Sharpshooters were very good. You know, we sort of, having had to fight them, I know I did post a game on the channel on how to sort of create separation between your front line and your own artillery pieces so that they can't reach you and take out your artillery. But then you leave yourself open to being crushed by doom wheels and stuff. But, I mean, it helps. Giselles, minus 25 projectile range, which is a big nerf. Minus 6 melee defense, doesn't matter versus the Dowie. Plus 20% increase in projectile calibration area, and increased projectile expire range to 550 meters. Dwarfling Menace, plus 2 melee attack, minus 2 melee defense. And Wheels of Doom, plus 2 melee attack, minus 3 melee defense. So that is a nerf versus the Dowie, for sure. Even though there are some things that have been buffed a small amount. Tomb Kings, Arkin on foot, minus 100 gold. Khalida on foot, minus 100 gold. Ketep on foot, minus 100 gold. Ketep on a Casket of Souls, plus 2 projectiles per volley. The Lich Priest, Skeletal Steed, plus 100 cost. Cetra on foot, minus 100 cost. A Tomb King on foot, minus 100 gold. Tomb Prince on foot, minus 100 gold. Nehakara Horseman, minus 100 mass. Plus 1 charge bonus, minus 3 defense. That's a pretty big nerf to Nehakara Horseman. Okay. Necropolis Knights, plus 2 charge bonus, plus 1 melee defense, plus 2 AP melee damage, plus 1 base melee damage, plus 1 splash attack targets. Holy crap. So, Nehakara Horseman, nerf. Necropolis Knights, big buff. Necropolis Knights with Halberd, plus 1 melee defense, plus 3 AP melee damage, plus 2 base melee. Wow. Necrosphinx now has forest terrain penalties for being a large entity. Excellent. Sphinx of Usek now has forest terrain penalties, plus 3 melee attack. Okay. Tomb Scorpion now has forest terrain penalties for being a large entity. Excellent. Carrion, plus 25 gold. Carrion are pretty good. They have excellent stats too, but they don't have a lot of models. But they can bung up Dowie. Like, I think they're really good. What are they? 375? 400? How much are they? 400. Yeah. See, they have 46 melee defense. 26 melee attack, but they only have 18 models. Now they're going to be 425. So that is a definite... that definitely helps Dowie. Blessed Legion of Fox. Plus 1 melee attack, plus 20 reload skill, minus 2 melee defense, minus 25 cost. So nerf to the Dowie. Skeleton Spearman, plus 1 bonus versus large, minus 1.26 seconds melee attack interval. Wow, that's a big buff. King Nikesh's Scorpion Legion, plus 1 melee attack, minus 3 melee defense, plus 1 bonus versus large. The Kepra Guard, plus 3 melee attack, plus 7 melee defense, minus 6 AP melee damage, plus 9 bonus versus infantry, minus 1 base melee damage. We're going to see the Kepra Guard. Where are they? Yeah, holy. Oh, they do magic damage. Well, you'll probably see them because they have regeneration. Even though they do magic damage, that's a 25% nerf. They're getting a big bonus, plus 9 for infantry and some AP. So, Sepulchral Stalkers, plus 1 ammo. Eyes of the Desert, plus 2 melee attack, minus 3 melee defense, plus 1 ammo. Chosen of the Gods, plus 2 melee attack, minus 3 melee defense, plus 50 cost. Nerf versus the Dowie. Casket of Souls, plus 2 projectiles per volley. I'm going to say this is definitely a net nerf for the Tomb Kings versus the Dowie. And the Dowie already had an advantage in this matchup. Vampire Coast. This is the Dowie's biggest advantage in any matchup. So Aranessa on foot, minus 50 gold. On a Rotting Promethean, minus 50 gold. Okay, so it's buffing Aranessa. Silostra Direfin. This is the one I think could be really good versus the Dowie, minus 50 gold. So that is a buff versus the Dowie. On a Rotting Leviathan, minus 50 cost, plus 20 base melee damage. Okay. Gunnery White, minus 100 cost on foot. That's a buff versus the Dowie. Bloated Corpse, minus 75 multiplayer cost. Interesting. Depth Guard, plus 4 health per entity. That is really good for the Vampire Coast versus Dowie. They definitely need that. Bloody Reaver Deck Guard, +2 melee attack, +1 melee defense, +4 health per entity. Alright, Sirens, +2 leadership. It's a buff versus the Dowie. Sirens are actually not bad versus dwarfs. Rotting Leviathan, +20 base melee. Zombie Deckhand mobs, all -5 health per entity. Ooh, -5 leadership. That is a big nerf. Holy. That is a really big nerf. Tide of Skjold, +2 melee attack, -5 health per entity, -5 leadership. The Black Spot, +2 melee attack, -2 melee defense. The Lamprey's Revenge, +3 melee attack, -4 melee defense. Night Terrors, -3 melee defense. The Gallows Giant, -2 melee defense. Projectile expiry range increased to 170 meters. Aranessa now uses small aquatic terrain stat effect group. Okay. Queen Bess, +2 melee attack, -1 melee defense. Deck Dropper Bombers, -50 gold. Deck Dropper Handguns, +50 gold. Salt Lord Scuttlers, +20 melee attack, -2 melee defense, -100 cost. What's a Salt Lord Scuttlers? Salt Lord Scuttlers? What the hell are those? Gallows Giant. Oh, I see. That's the Deck Droppers. Okay. They're cheaper now. Well, and they will have 60 range. Armor Sundering, Armor Piercing. They don't have much ammunition, and it's... yeah, I don't know. Cheaper by 50 gold. Good for them. Shade Wraith Gunners, +2 melee attack, -2 melee defense. So, Vampire Coast... I don't know. It might be a wash versus the Dowie. Like, the Depth Guard getting 4 health per entity is pretty good for them. Sirens +2 leadership is useful, but their zombies being that nerfed, that's really going to hurt them. And it'll even hurt their summons too, right? Silostra being -50 gold. You know, I think she could be a good lord, but I think the dwarfs actually got better versus Vampire Coast if I look at this. But, well, the Depth Guard, though, +4 health. Maybe not. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, we'll keep going. Okay, so Vampire counts. So the dwarfs have an advantage in this matchup as of right now. Vlad on foot, -100 gold. Red Duke on foot, -100 gold. Heinrich Kemmler on foot, -50 gold. Isabella von Karstein, -50. Manfred, -50. The Blood Dragon Vampire Lord on foot, -50. The Lamian Vampire Lord, -50. The Neckgark Vampire Lord, -50. The Strigoi Vampire Lord, -50. The Von Karstein Vampire Lord, -50. And the Strigoi Ghoul King, -100. The Vampire Lord, -50. The Master Necromancer on a Barded Nightmare, +150. Good. The Necromancer on a Nightmare, +100 gold. Vampires on foot, -50 gold. The Banshee, -100 gold. The White King, -100 gold. Those are all good. Like, essentially, you could get... I mean, the Vampire counts can bring lords on foot. So they could save themselves 100 gold or 200 gold if they bring a Banshee or a White King as well. White King on Barded Skeletal Steed, -50 gold. Karen Wraiths, +2 charge bonus, +2 leadership. That's good. Hex Wraiths, +2 melee attack, +2 leadership. Killgeist, +5 melee attack, +2 leadership. Okay, that's a buff. Skeleton Spearman, +1 bonus versus large. A little bit better. Cryptors, +2 AP, +3 base. So Cryptor is going to do some more damage. Varix Reavers, +2 melee attack, -2 melee defense. Feasters in the Dusk, who you do see against the Dowie, are +2 melee attack, -3 melee defense. A little bit of a nerf. The Koningstein Stalkers, +1 melee attack, -2 melee defense. Stearnsman, +2 melee attack, -3 melee defense, so a nerf versus the Dowie. The Tithe, +1 melee attack, -1 melee defense. The Devils of Schwarzhofen, +3 melee attack, -3 melee defense. The Dire Pack, +2 melee attack, -2 melee defense. The Claw of Nagash, +2 melee attack and -2 melee defense. So, Yeah, this is definitely a buff versus the Dowie, I think. A potential. Like, you could probably find a few hundred gold here. Cryptors, maybe. Karen Race, I don't know. They're not that great to begin with. You know, maybe you can find a couple hundred gold. I mean, it's not nothing, right? It's 2 units of zombies. Oh, yeah, I'd have to say this is a net buff versus the Dowie. Although losing 1 stat point on the Stearnsman is not great. Cryptors, though, still don't think Cryptors will be great against the Dowie. Warriors of Chaos, so they had a big advantage versus the Dowie. Archeon on foot, minus 100 gold. Prince Sigvald on foot, minus 100 gold. Now, you do see Sigvald sometimes. Chaos Sorcerer Lord on foot, minus 50 gold. And you do see Sorcerer Lords. Sorcerer Lord on a steed, plus 50 gold. The Chaos Lord on foot, minus 100 gold. Chaos Lord on a barded steed, minus 50 gold. Chaos Sorcerers on foot, minus 50 gold. Chaos Sorcerers on steeds, plus 50 gold. The Exalted Hero on foot, minus 100 gold. On a barded Chaos Steed, minus 50 gold. Dragon Ogres, plus 15 armor. Summoners of Rage, plus 15 armor, plus 3 melee attack, minus 3 melee defense, plus 50 cost. Summoners of Rage must be pretty decent. Swords of Chaos, plus 10 melee attack. Oh, that's a big buff. Plus 3 melee defense, plus 10 AP melee, plus 15 bonus versus infantry. Holy crap, plus 5 base melee damage, plus 100 cost. So what are Swords of Chaos? It tells you how much I see them. They must not be that great. Mirror Guard. Oh, they're Chaos Knights. Flame attack, 120 armor. They have Apocalyptic Charge, and they're going to be more expensive. 44. They have 15 bonus versus infantry right now. Oh, minus 15 bonus versus infantry. I see. They're going to make them better all-arounders. Swords of Chaos, not such an infantry specialist. 13 stat points, minus 15 stat points, plus 10 AP, plus 5 base. It's about 100 gold. Why would they make it more expensive? I don't ever remember seeing these guys. But, okay. They're a better all-arounder, but it's essentially, they've nerfed them, is from what I'm looking at. Yeah, it's a nerf. So Swords of Chaos have been nerfed. Versus infantry. And they've been nerfed versus cavalry, actually. They're 100 gold. Huh. Well, I guess they have been buffed versus cavalry, because that 15 bonus versus infantry didn't matter. So 10 melee. Okay, yeah, okay. So there you go. They've been nerfed a tiny bit versus infantry, buffed quite a bit versus cavalry, and they're 100 gold more expensive. Chaos Knights. Plus 2 AP, plus 4 base melee. And you do see these sometimes. Mirror Guard, plus 2 melee attack, minus 4 melee defense. The Soul of Damnation, plus 1 melee attack, minus 2 melee defense. The Chaos Giant, minus 100 gold. The Chaos Spawn, minus 100 gold. Weird Spawn, plus 2 melee attack, minus 3 melee defense. Plague Spew, plus 3 melee attack, minus 2 melee defense. Chaos Warhands both have Vanguard now. Okay. So Thurl the Everwatcher, minus 10 missile resistance. So that's a nerf versus the Dowie. But otherwise, they've got some buffs. And so Thurl's got a bit of a nerf. I don't think this matchup is changing a whole lot. I mean, with the quarters with great weapons and the little more spike damage, you know, maybe it's swinging a little bit to the Dowie. I don't know. It won't be a lot though, because you're getting 100 free gold if you bring Sigvald, and if you bring a Lord on foot, you get another 100 gold. Or if you bring a Sorcerer on foot, you get another 50 gold. 150 free gold on that. Plus, I mean, yeah, I don't think it's changed a whole lot. What else? Orion, added Vanguard, plus 50 gold. Okay. Durthu, plus 10 armor. Ancient Tree Man, plus 10 armor, minus 100 gold. Branch Wraith, minus 50 gold, immune to psychology. Glade Lord on foot, minus 100 gold. Spell Slingers on an Elven Steed, plus 50 gold. Waystalkers, minus 100 gold. Wild Hunters of Kurnos, removed Guardian, added magical attacks, and plus 13 bonus versus large, plus 50 cost, plus 2 melee attack, minus 3 melee defense. Okay. Way Watchers, minus 2 run speed, minus 6 health per entity. Holy crap, that's a nerf. Plus 4 charge bonus, minus 4 melee defense, plus 50 cost. Ooh, that's a big nerf. That's definitely not going to help them versus the Daoi. Hawkeyes of Dracura, minus 2 run speed. Oh, they must be the Regiment of Renown version of the Way Watchers. Minus 2 run speed, minus 6 health per entity, plus 2 melee attack, minus 8 melee defense. Oh, plus 8 bonus versus infantry and melee. Interesting. Treekin, plus 2 entity radius, plus 10 armor. Firebark Elders, plus 2 entity radius, plus 10 armor, plus 2 melee attack, minus 4 melee defense. Treeman, plus 10 armor. Orion, added Vanguard, okay. Hawk Riders, made entity 12% wider. Improved firing animations to make first volley faster. Well, they're 12% wider. Hawk Riders just got weaker against the Daoi. Glade Riders, plus 2 leadership. Wildwood Rangers, minus 3 base melee damage, minus 5 AP melee damage, plus 2 run speed, plus 4 charge speed, minus 100 gold, increased unit spacing. Wildwood Rangers. Let's see. Are these something that's they could use against the Daoi? They could. 42. I guess it'd be harder to hit them with if the Wildwood Rangers are in a spread formation and cheaper. 1,000 gold. Maybe they could be good against the Daoi. I don't know. Wardens of Sithiril. Plus 3 melee attack, minus 3 melee defense, plus 2 run speed, plus 4 charge speed, minus 100 cost. War Dancers. Minus 4 melee attack, plus 4 melee defense. I don't know what that does. Loex Trexters. Plus 2 melee attack, minus 4 melee defense, minus 50 cost. Okay. Well, I'm going to say the Wood Elves definitely lost versus the Daoi. The Way Watchers are worse. Well, maybe they can get a little gold on their caster. I don't know. Well, it depends on, maybe the Wildwood Rangers are okay with that increased unit spacing. We'll see. I don't think that's changed much. Abilities and spells. So, Summon Unbindings now split into 3 phases with different colors. Blue for stable, orange for weak, and red for critical. That's actually really good because you'll be able to see who's who. Deliverance of Itza. That's Lord Croak's spells. Deliverance of Itza 1, minus 8 AP vortex damage, plus 1 power cost. Deliverance of Itza 2, minus 5 AP, plus 1 power cost. Deliverance of Itza 3, minus 3% AP, plus 2 power cost. So that's a further nerf to the 300 gold. Shadows of Amlek, plus 14 base vortex damage. Okay. Fiery Convocation, plus 100% AP vortex damage, now deals fire damage? Holy crap. Bound Fiery Convocation, plus 100 AP vortex, now deals fire damage. Fiery Convocation upgraded, plus 100 AP vortex, now deals fire damage. Pestilent Breath, minus 14 base vortex. Pestilent Breath upgraded, minus 14% base vortex damage. Wind Blast, that's actually minus 14 base vortex, which is good. Because the Wind Blast is actually pretty strong versus the Daoi. Plus 75 detonation force. I don't know what that means. Maybe it blows things away easier, but it doesn't hurt them as much. Upgraded Wind Blast. Minus 14 base. Minus 16 AP. Plus 75 detonation. Exorcism. Lore of Light passive. Changed to a map-wide AoE augment that affects all allies. It gives them immune to psychology and plus 4 leadership for 11 seconds whenever the wizard casts a spell. That is interesting. Bestial Surge, plus 9 vigor, changed to plus 5 vigor. Plague Rash, -9 vigor, changed to -5 vigor. That's a buff for the Daoi. Sunfang, -15 base vortex damage. Soulfire, projectile damage from 26 to 1. I don't get it. Plus 200% explosion radius, plus 2 meters. Explosion damage no longer affects allies. Removed magic resistance, increase in radius. Okay. Grand Soulfire, the same thing. Reduced bombardment spread from 30 meters to 15 though. Divine Power now has a map-wide radius. Reduced miscast from 50% to 25. Okay. Fireball. Fireballs are to take out artillery. They're harsh. -25% AP from 200 to 150. -26% projectile base damage, and -50% projectile penetration. That is a big nerf. Fireball upgraded, plus 300 AP projectile. It was previously 0. Huh. Plus -70% base projectile damage, -50% projectile penetration. Liber Bubonicis, -0.1 damage chance. Okay. Spirit Leech, -0.1 damage chance. Soul Stealer, -0.1 damage chance. Arcane Unforging, and upgraded, -0.1 damage chance. Web of Shadows, -0.1 damage chance. Effigia to Git, -0.1 damage chance. Final Transmutation and the upgraded version, -0.1 damage chance. So hopefully these are all good again versus the Daoi. Warpstone Armor. Hit point change frequency from 0.5 seconds to 1. DPS is halved. Well, that's good for the Daoi. Here's the big one. Rune of Wrath and Rune. -48% speed changed to -72% speed and -72% charge speed. No longer deals direct damage. Duration from 18 to 19 seconds. Increased range from 150 to 200 meters. Master Rune of Wrath and Rune is the same thing, but 38 seconds. So that is a big nerf. But it's also a buff to controlling chariots. So it's a buff and a nerf. If you look, like now, I think, is his -76, -76? Yeah, so essentially it's like Flash Bomb without the -27 melee defense. So Flash Bomb costs 159, and you get 3 uses of it. What it is, it's exactly like Smoke Bomb that's on the Nasty Skulkers. I think they have -76, -76. I'm pretty sure. Smoke Bomb. So Smoke Bomb is -76% charge speed, -76% speed. It has unlimited uses, but it has a 30-meter range, but it can affect multiple things. So the Dwarf one is castable, has 4 uses, and doesn't come with the unit. I mean, you gotta buy it. So, But, I mean, 200-meter cast range is way better than a 30-meter radius of your unit, for sure. But losing that direct damage is pretty big. The Rune Lord, with the, like, you put the Master Rune of Wrath and Rune, and the Rune of Wrath and Rune on a unit. I mean, so I don't know how many times I've been able to rout infantry units by putting a Rune of Wrath and Rune and just chipping away at their damage when they're low. Or you take you take the one great infantry piece and you put the double rune on them, you take them down to sort of like 60% health. That is a big nerf. You can easily get all of their value from if you cast that whole thing 7 times. Like 4 of theirs, you can get 680 gold with 4 casts of Rune of Wrath and Rune, and you can get 1,000 gold with 3 casts of Master Rune of Wrath and Rune. Pretty close to it. If you put it on an expensive unit. Even if you put it on a cheap unit, it's easy to get sort of 400 gold worth on the Rune Lord. Like, to give you an example, if you cast Rune of Wrath and Rune and Master Rune of Wrath and Rune on a group of Fellbats, you delete it. So that's 350 gold gone with 1 combined cast. So you take 3 combined casts available, that's 1,050 gold. and then an extra cast that's sort of 1,200 gold. This is here 1,700 goldish. So, I mean, they can pay for themselves just with the damage, and that's all gone now. However, adding, instead of just the speed debuff, and 48, making it 72, 78 rather, what is it going to be? Same as this, 76. So you make it 76, and you reduce the charge speed. A lot of times we'd see when I would cast gains and chariots would have Rune of Wrath and Rune to try and slow them down, but then they'd speed up like crazy because they got into their charge animation. And their charge speed completely ignored their slow. So they'd go from 40 speed to 90 speed for a short, say 40 speed to 80 speed for a short period of time, and so your Trollhammer torpedoes would completely miss a chariot. With this, you'll be able to put a lot more reliable damage on the things that you slow down, and you only need to use one slow. And again, if this is a 76% slow, okay, the most you can slow anything down is 90%. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong there, but you add that, I mean, to the Thane's 18%, and you almost get to your 90%. 76 and 18. Oh no, wait a minute. That is your 90%. So, I mean, with anything, a Rune of Slowness on top, the Dragonback Slayers, is it 36% speed debuff? You get to your 90% real fast. And you only have to use one Runesmith. And 76% is plenty, as long as you reduce that. So, I think, with that Rune of Wrath and Rune, you're going to see less Rune Lords. You're always going to see a Runesmith. And I think that's kind of the standard build now. You bring one Runesmith with your 4 Runes of Wrath and Rune, maybe 2. And you pair him with, you know, your 2 Trollhammers. And this is your backline defense core. Two Trollhammers, if they can both get 2 shots on something because it's slowed down, you're easily going to destroy it. And this thing lasts for what? It's going to be 19 seconds. And these guys have a 10-second reload. Or 16-second reload, I think. Reload time is 18 seconds. There you go. So, you hit them once. It lasts for 19 seconds. These guys reload and it can hit them twice. I think this is the core for anti-chariot play. Now maybe, you know, maybe you do something. Maybe you do bring 2 Runesmiths. You know. And so you can stack up. No, you can't stack them. Like now, you can't stack Rune to Wrath and Rune because 76% reduction, 76% reduction is going to equal a 90% reduction. It's not going to matter. But you can stack this with the Thane's ability and the Dragonback Slayer's ability. And Dragonback Slayers are going to be catch a lot more. So they'll catch it and they'll be able to keep putting damage on it, and then they'll keep it slowed. I don't know. But that's a lot of damage that's gone. That's a lot of potential damage that's gone. Because I know when you get into late in the matches, you find something that's sort of at that 35% health. You put a Rune of Wrath and Rune, and that, including the additional damage and maybe a little missile fire, routs it. And sometimes shatters it. That is a interesting change. I don't know if it's good or bad. Like, I like the idea of being able to not bring a Rune Lord. Because why would I bring the Rune Lord now? I just bring one Runesmith and now I can bring a hero. Bring Belagar at 1,000 gold, and he's a real fighter. And I still have protection against that. And I can bring the Hammer of Karak Draws. And this guy's now he's gonna be 50 gold cheaper. You know? Like, I think a Runesmith is still a must-have, to be perfectly honest. Like, I still think you're going to see the Runesmith. He won't be 832. He'll be 782, right? But you know, Belagar at 1,000 gold. Maybe you can bring an ability. Grombrindle. You can bring Ungram Iron Fist for 1,250. A Lord for 900. Thorgrim Grudgebearer? I don't know. I guess I only bring the Rune Lord for sure when I'm playing against the Wood Elves. But, yeah. That is a large, large change. So, Doom Bolts, all versions, plus 200% projectile shockwave radius. So, plus 2 meters. The dreaded 13 spell, plus 6 base explosion damage, 12%. Plus 3 AP explosion damage, 12%. Gyrocopter bombs, plus 14 base explosion damage, plus 26 AP. Does it tell me how much a bomb does here? No. It doesn't. Well, I guess we'll see. How powerful is it for gyrocopter bombs? Comet of Cassandora, plus 33% AP explosion, plus 2 meter explosion radius. Cassandora upgraded, same thing. Ernan's Thunderbolt, plus 41% AP explosion, changed target range to 300 meters. Ernan's Thunderbolt upgraded, 45% AP explosion, target range to 300 meters. Giver of Glory, War Mammoth War Shrine, removed unbreakable attribute effect, added plus 26 melee attack, plus 16 leadership, 13 seconds duration, added 3 uses, max 3 usage, a 30-second recharge, increased target range to 60 meters. Holy crap. You know, you're still not going to see that versus the Dowie, I don't think. That's Giver of Glory. WTF. Oh, it just gives you fire damage and unbreakable. Now it's like a pretty big buff. 2,300 gold though, so I guess it has to be good. Lord of Undeath, plus 40 seconds summon duration. Okay, Spider Hatchlings, minus 36 summon duration. Spiteful Shot, plus 9 seconds. Spiteful Shot upgraded, plus 18 seconds. Occam's Mind Razor, plus 4 second duration. Occam's Mind Razor upgraded, plus 4 seconds duration. Cloak of Mist and Shadows, plus 5 second duration. Fist of Gork. Ooh, that's powerful. Plus 7 second duration. And Fist of Gork is something that, what's his name has too. He wears it. He rides that war pig. He's already the best unit. Wurzag. Yeah, he's already the best because he has this item, the Bonewood Staff, plus 13 melee attack, and now Fist of Gork. Where is it? That's Foot of Gork. Fist of Gork is going to last, instead of 28 seconds, even longer for 7 Winds of Magic, and that's 50 stat points, plus 7. Holy crap. Well, that's a lot. Flaming Sword of Ruin, plus 3 second duration. Flaming Sword of Ruin upgraded, plus 6 second duration. Gaze in the Gash, minus 1 power cost. Upgraded, minus 1 power cost. Night Shroud, minus 2 power cost. Night Shroud upgraded, minus 2 power cost. Shem's Burning Gaze, minus 1 power cost. Shem's Burning Gaze upgraded, minus 1 power cost. Banishment, minus 1 power cost. Barona's Time Warp upgraded, minus 1 power cost. Dwellers Below, minus 1. Dwellers Below upgraded, minus 1 power cost. Awakening of the Wood, minus 1 power cost. Pan's Impenetrable Belt upgraded, minus 1 power cost. Curse of Anna Rare, minus 1 power cost. Warp Lightning, plus 1 power cost. Warp Lightning upgraded, plus 1 power cost. Skitter Leap, minus 3 power cost. Skitter Leap upgraded, minus 3 power cost. Scorch, minus 1 power cost. Vermintide, plus 1 power cost. Pearl of Infinite Bleakness, plus 16 duration. Hand of Glory upgraded, removed 24% speed effect, now gives a bigger 60 reload skill instead. Alright. Stone Shaper, from plus 10 armor to plus 15 armor. Dragon Slayer's Fang, plus 18 armor, plus 23. Mask of Heaven, plus 18 armor to plus 23. Warp Shard armor, minus 18 armor to minus 23 armor. Holy. Dark Mail, plus 24 armor to plus 30. Plus 22 magic resistance to plus 25. Helm of Many Eyes, +6 armor to +7 armor. Totem of Rust, -6 armor to -7 armor. Strength of the Land, 1, from 6 armor to 7. Strength of the Land 2, 12 to 15 armor. Strength of the Land 3, from 18 armor to 23 armor. Strength of the Land 4, from 18 armor to 23 armor. Twisted Flesh 1, from 6 armor to 7 armor. Twisted Flesh 2, from 12 armor to 15 armor. Twisted Flesh 3, from 18 armor to 23 armor. Ruinous Flesh, from 18 armor to 23 armor. Feather Foe Torque, from -12 armor to -15 armor. Blood Greed, activation condition changed to in melee. Remove speed bonus, increased leadership from 12 to 15. +12 to +15. Tretch's Raiders is now always active and targets other units that are winning in combat. Ah, okay. So Tretch Craventail is just the Footlord. So let's see. What is Tretch's Raiders? Where is he? Okay. Tretch's Raiders is always active. Within a 40-meter radius, you get +9 melee attack if you're winning. +10 armor piercing, +10 weapon damage. Wow, that's really good. This is the kind of thing that's really interesting, I think. And you get it for free. What does that say? Tretch's Raiders is now always active and targets other units that are winning combat. Okay. It's always active and targets other units. Cool. So making Tretch a little bit more effective as a Footlord. I love it. Quicksilver Shot changed from common ability, reduced the cost from 164 to 82. Shield of Chakwa reduced the effect range from 40 meters to 30 meters and added max 3 uses. Shield of Chakwa. Is that Shield of Chakwa? Is that what's his name's? Where is he? Croaks? Is that Shield of Chakwa? Oh, that's Supreme Shield of the old ones. What's a Shield of Chakwa? Is that these guys? Legion of Chakwa? Yeah, they have the Shield of Chakwa. Now it's 30 meter range and you have max 3 uses. Okay, I got it. The Potion of Chiroi added max 4 uses. Alright, and that's it. For... hard to say. I think the Dowie are better. Definitely. Let's look at everything. I think the Dowie have come out on top of this path. Beastmen are better too, all around. Dowie have done very good here, I think, in general. All around improvements. Though they've gotten nerfed through their quarters. So, you know, that's going to change some matchups a little bit. But I think it's a net buff. With the way the miners and the lords changed. The reduces in cost. The Rune of Wrath and Rune. Maybe that's a net nerf. I don't know. It's close. It is close. I guess we'll see. I feel good about the changes to the Dowie, actually. So we'll see. I guess the last thing they talk about down here is they just sort of give a thank you to modders, and they have like, so they say, and it's a floppy Empire hats off to the modders. So they're as the new content team works to add new characters and factions and evolve existing content, we continue to see amazing variations on that content coming out of the modding community. Props in particular to Mixu, whose fantastic Legendary Lord mods helped to realize Marcus Wolfart and Gorok in game for players prior to the Hunter and the Beast. We only wish we could have told you that we were making them earlier. Big shout out to other modders who have tackled Empire. They just name some people and they go over some of the kit's changes. And added some other stuff for modders. So that is the review of the patch notes, which is interesting. I mean, I mean, we're gonna have to do some testing, but I feel like that's I don't know. It feels good. Think I like the changes. I mean, I especially like the change to the Dwarf Warriors. Great weapons, +2 melee attack. Not going to get us there, but it's going to help us. And the miners, +2 melee attack, again, is not going to get us there, but it's going to help. Every little bit helps. The Quarrelers, again, more spike damage, less total damage. So I don't know how that's going to go up, but the Lords, definitely reducing cost. I mean, that's going to make a difference. And the nature of Rune of Wrath and Rune, I think you just need to bring a Runesmith. You don't need to bring a Rune Lord anymore. Because that damage, you don't make back the damage. But I think a Runesmith is now pretty much mandatory for most builds. You know, but you can really control or reduce the effect of one large entity or one chariot or one group of cavalry. But I mean, it's not going to stop you from getting swarmed by 5 harpies or swarmed by, three chariots, So it'll be interesting to see what the army limits are, and when we get that chance, we'll have a look. So, anyways, long video, but I wanted to read over the entire bit so that you could have a source or resource if you're just listening to this on the way to work or something and you just want to listen to all the changes. Here it is. I hope you found that interesting, and I will see you soon.